Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison and streamers everywhere. I'm Jesse Nelson, Sports Center, brought to you by Ho Chunk Gaming Madison, home of smoke-free slots and the highest payout percentage in the area. Ho Chunk Gaming Madison, more spins, more wins, more fun. Bad news and good news for the Milwaukee Brewers last night. Bad news, they lost their first game of the year, 3-2 to the Tampa Bay Rays in American Family Field. Tied 2-2 in the ninth inning. The Rays scored the go-ahead run in the top of the ninth. The good news is every other undefeated team remaining also lost last night. There were 5 of them. The Brewers were one of 5 that lost on Monday night. Therefore, the Brewers are still the best team in baseball. Yeah, we're only 4 games in. Brewers-Rays tonight, 6:40 first pitch. Pre-game coverage starts just after 6 o'clock following Jim, Matt, and Molly right here on Madison's home of the Brewers, 100.5 ESPN. With the Brewers airing on ESPN Madison, Bucks Mavericks tonight at Fiserv Forum. Tip time at 7 o'clock, airing on 1670 The Zone here in Madison. Wisconsin women's basketball postseason run comes to an end yesterday afternoon in Wichita, falling 67-50 to Columbia in the semifinal of the WBIT.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
It is the Tuesday edition. What was the most interesting thing to come out of the NFL meetings, which I was just telling Paul and the girls, I can't not go anymore. I got to figure out a way to go because I felt exposed. Thank you to Ryan Wood of the Green Bay Press Gazette for posting so many videos so we could talk about a lot of the things that were discussed. Edition. I'm still intrigued by the disgruntled players. I'm still intrigued by Matt LaFleur not asking Rich Bisaccia why he was quitting. And I'm still intrigued by the fact that the Packers could still end up playing an overseas game, according to Ed Policy, who talked to the guys that are there covering the NFL meetings last night. And he also apparently took umbrage with the idea that he maybe should have fired Matt LaFleur. Edition. And the Tauscher's got to leave early, but we've got some fun things planned before he departs. Edition of Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 100.5 ESPN Madison, 1430 ESPN Beaverdam, ESPNWisconsin.com, the ESPN app, your Alexa smart speaker, streaming live video, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and, of course, everything you need on the amazing, stupendous, phenomenal, fantastic, all customizable and all free ESPN Wisconsin app, which you can find both in the Apple and Android app stores. I'm Jason Wilde in Green Bay. Jesse Nelson's in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios, bespectacled today. Woo! Woo! And from his seat with indentations per Joe Thomas, it is the Packers Hall of Famer. It is Mark Tauscher. Tausch, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic this morning, Jason. How are you guys doing?
Super duper.
I like that red Lobos attire you got on here. It's good.
It's a nice shirt.
Pops.
Yeah, bows up. Spring ball. They're rolling down there.
What's the hat?
I don't know. Caliber Law, our good buddy Brad Fulton.
Yeah, we love Brad. We also love the fact that Matt LaFleur went to the coach's breakfast yesterday and told us that he had a bunch of malcontents on his hands last season, and it took a toll on his team. Now, I was asked on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy about our disgruntled draft that we held yesterday.
It was fun.
That was fun.
That was fun. Now,
Way too many cats on that deal.
Now, to be clear, those were our guesses and conjectures.
Yeah, but I think we're right.
I don't hear anyone disagreeing.
Somebody tell me where we're wrong.
I can't say that all of them were disgruntled. What I will say is I think some of them we nailed. And maybe we're wrong about some.
I think Haversick
or maybe
is
we
the
got
only
them all
one.
right, and there were this many disgruntled people.
Haversick was he was teaching, and he's kicking in Lambeau Field. Like, I don't know how disgruntled he was.
Yeah, Jesse added him late.
Yeah,
Clayton Tune, on the other hand, probably should be not an honorable mention, but like the pinnacle of the list.
Yes.
He was definitely thrown to the wolves. But again, maybe I'm looking at this in a different way than other people, but the fact that LaFleur brought this up largely unprompted I found myself thinking about this after the show ended. I think, I'm not saying he's going to take there's a new sheriff in town approach, but I think this might have been an important wake-up call for him, and the fact that he brought it up the way he did says to me that not only does he realize that he needs to do a better job of articulating guys' roles, but on the flip side, they need to make sure that they have guys that are buying in as opposed to guys that maybe be media starts with me-ish and thinking me first.
Yeah, how surprised do you think he was? Because I think this did stem, at least the question that was asked to him from that NFLPA report is where I think it stemmed from. Was he surprised, or did he know that he did not do a good job of clearly defining roles?
So I think he was probably surprised by the grade a little bit. Now, again, just to be clear, the original question was from Ryan Wood of the Press-Gazette, who said, essentially, how do you get over the hump and not be the 7th seed every year? And then he offered up this, guys were unhappy with their roles, and that took a toll on our football team. And then one of the follow-up questions was, do you think that factored into you getting a B- in those NFLPA grades? And he had an A- the previous year. Now, again, I don't know how they weigh grades. Like, you could have, Jordan Love gives him an A, but Quay Walker gives him an F. That averages out to a C. That'll bring you down from an A- to a B-, right? So I don't know exactly how that works. I'm still fascinated by the fact that the NFL went to court to prevent those from being released, and now they just get leaked instead of being announced by the NFLPA. But to your point, Tausch, I think he understood that there were issues. I mean, I don't think he was clueless to that. I still think he was probably a little surprised that his grade dropped as much as it did.
That he must have been, and that is, one of the things that you need to do as a coach is to make sure you're again, as I said yesterday, there are going to be people that aren't happy. You have highly competitive people, and not everybody can see the field. Not everybody can have the amount of touches that they want. Not everybody's going to get the reps that they want. It's about kind of getting and finding the roles that you can fit and then letting them go and earn more opportunities. That's all players want. And players also want you to be direct with them. Maybe they don't immediately want you to be direct with them, but eventually they do. And it's hard. It is hard to tell people. That's why Goody will always say the toughest time of the year is that end of August, early September, when you're basically cutting people and telling them, well, it's not going to happen here, or it's not going to happen here right now. Those are hard conversations, but that is part of the deal. And most players, not all, you don't want to BS them because then you feel misled, and that's where animosity really comes from. So I think Matt LaFleur, we've said this, he has a hard time firing people. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not, I think he's a vibes guy. I think he's a feel good. He wants his players to like him. I think he wants his coaches to respect him, and I think there's a process that you go through and you understand you don't need to go Belichickian where you have no relationship. I don't think that's not Matt's personality. But there is a line, and the job is to win. And the best way to win in team sports is to have people understanding their roles and doing it to the best of their abilities and executing what you're asking them to do. And a lot of times, guys, especially if you're asking them to do special teams or if you're asking them to do something that isn't their specialty, they'll feel like that's hindering their performance, pay, all of the things that players individually want. That's the thread. That's the needle that he's trying to thread.
So, all right. So your role, you come in as a rookie in 2000. Earl's back locks up. You get a ton of work in the preseason. You then are relegated to being a backup when the season begins because Earl's healthy again. And then Earl has more back trouble in Buffalo. You come in. Marco Rivera tells the great story about you coming in wide-eyed, and then boom, you settle in and you're good to go. So your role, you obviously had to compete to keep your starting job throughout your career. You had to overcome ACL tears, all that stuff. But you kind of knew your role, right? You earned your keep. Did you have teammates, and I'm not asking for you to tell me who they were, but did you have teammates who struggled with, this is my role, whether it was with Mike Sherman or Mike McCarthy, because you never played for LaFleur. But did you have guys that were like, I don't know what my place in this world is? And did you advise them? Did you see that impact their performance? Because, again, all kidding aside about our draft, you're right. Like, I don't think we have anybody on our list there that you would say, well, there was no way they were unhappy. Like, they all... there were logical reasons for us to pick each and every one of those guys, except for Lucas Havrisik.
No doubt. Yes, there's, again, you're talking about everybody wants to be great individually, and not everybody can be to the degree they believe they are. And you have to figure out, all right, the best examples I can give is the year, the 4th and 26 game. We had defined roles. I mean, Amon knew it. He was the bell cow. Najee knew what he was doing. Fish was going to be the third down back. And you can look at our Super Bowl season. Brandon Jackson knew he was going to be a third down back. That's what he was going to do. And he was going to contribute on special teams. And you just embrace that and you run with it. That didn't mean BJ, he didn't want to be a starting tailback. Of course, he wanted to get the touches that Starks got and everybody else. But he understood where his role was, and then he worked very hard to be good at it. Tight ends, you can look at, well, I'm a blocker. I come in on short yardage. Occasionally you throw him a bone. You get him a little keep pass, and that's how this works. And, yeah, I think everybody wants to be a Keith Jackson rolling down and Chewy and, Jermichael Finley, but that's not how this works. And, the hard part is when you have draft picks, and let's take Luke Musgrave. You don't think he's incredibly frustrated that Tucker Kraft has overtaken him? I haven't heard, which is, I haven't heard him say any of those things, but I know just from a competitive standpoint, of course he's not happy with his role. And that's okay, but you know what? That's the guy, like LaFleur was talking about. You can do something about that. Tucker's going to be laid up for a little bit. He's going to get opportunities in training camp. Tucker, I'm sure, is hoping to be back for the regular season opener, and he'll be back doing what he does. But in the meantime, that's where you take that next step. You have to get better at blocking. Those are the things, and players want to hear, what do I need to be better at? What can I do to get out there? And it's up to them to do that. It's up to the coaches to help them get there. But I do think Matt LaFleur, I'm sure he'll be more descriptive. He'll be more intentional with that because it works. And if it doesn't work, you get rid of guys because you can't have a bunch of guys sitting in the corner. Bill Parcells had another great quote, in essence, saying, the guys, always be wary of the guys that are sitting in their corner by themselves talking because they're just sitting there bickering about things. And that, if you can keep it contained, is fine. But it doesn't stay contained, especially if you start losing a couple games, a la how the end of last season went. Not saying that is or isn't what happened, but
sure,
you just know that stuff spreads quickly, and you have to stay on top of your locker room.
Well, that sounds like it is Matt LaFleur's goal for this season is to do a better job with that. I am again, what percentage of guys that are no longer here, because that was the follow-up that I think Rob Domofsky asked. It was, well, are most of those guys that aren't here anymore? I would say that judging from our list, significant percentage of the people we suggested are no longer here. But certainly not all of them. Some of them are back. And again, we don't know who actually was disgruntled. Like Luke Musgrave, again, I'm not going to pretend that I know Luke Musgrave well, because I definitely don't. But in the conversations I had with him, he feels like one of those kind of go with the flow guys who doesn't get like I'm sure he would like to.
He's
do
not as
more.
even keeled as Romeo, was he?
I'm going to miss Romeo. And again, someday you will acknowledge that maybe I was using a euphemism there for a different way to describe him. But be that as it may.
I'm not going to get there, just so you know.
I
won't.
know you're not.
Okay.
Euphemism's not our strength around here, I don't think.
No.
I can spell euphemism, though. It's a fun word to spell.
Yeah. Spelling
let's
very
hear
good
it.
strength. Yeah.
Let's go.
It's
Come on, euphemism.
EUPH, and everything else is pretty easy.
We'll give it to him.
You get to say the first four letters, and then you get it.
That's what I just
This
did,
is
yeah.
not the Scripps
Wilde
Howard
I
spelling
don't
bee.
think last
clearly.
time I checked, I'm not getting a $100,000 Scholastic America scholarship. Once we start putting that up, I'll finish
At
the
the Wilde and
euphemism.
Tausch spelling bee, EUPH, and the rest counts.
My point is that I don't know how disgruntled Luke Musgrave was, but I would say this: if I had the guy that passed me in the starting lineup that was drafted behind me get hurt, and then theoretically it's supposed to be my big opportunity,
And Chipotle Ben's taking all your
and
reps
they're
in
still
Minnesota.
playing Chipotle Ben. Well, I think he'd actually been released, as it turned out. But Fitzpatrick and Josh Wiley, no relation to Noah Wiley of the Pit. That would put a burr in my saddle, and I don't know if that did or didn't with him, because he's not someone that we talk to very often. He does not enjoy his interactions with us, unlike us, who enjoy our interactions. I just had one with Gina Della the other day. We love our interactions with Gina Della, and we love Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Indeed we do, and today is the day. You better get moving. You got, I'm not going to do the math. Jesse can do the math. It's about 14, 16 hours, something like that. Zero financing till 2032. 6 more years. Our homes need to be ready for just about anything in Wisconsin. Going to snow today or tomorrow. You just never know. That's why Pella will focus on quality and durability in everything that they do. The right windows and doors vastly improve your home's comfort, efficiency, and overall style. And with Pella, you will get expert recommendations designed around your home, your needs, and within your budget. Don't miss out on that 0% financing until 2032. 6 more years. Probably a couple championships for the pack. This offer does end today. Visit PellaWI.com today to learn more.
All right, I want to get into something that Rob Domofsky tweeted, or maybe it was Schneidman, I don't remember, about their conversation with Ed Policy last night. And I want to get
Is that
Tausch's-
over drinks, or is that...
I don't know. This is
Late
why I
night
got
in the
evening,
lobby?
yeah, like a little cocktail party.
In the hot tub?
They do have this kind of gathering the first night there, and I that was where Pete Carroll tried to convince me that 9/11 was an inside job, and I awkwardly told John Schneider, please don't ever leave me alone with him again. So I don't really enjoy that. There's billionaires, and so if you got a couple of guys to hang out with, it's much better. I don't think that was last night. I think that was the previous night. So I don't know what the context was of their conversation, but Ed Policy said something that I thought was interesting, and that 1/3 of the Packers fan base, I don't think they're going to like it. I'll tell you what it is next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Mark Tauscher here, and the only thing that makes watching basketball better this time of year is enjoying a great game with the cool, refreshing taste of an ice-cold Coors Light. Whether it's a thrilling buzzer beater, a big upset, or a top seed blowing somebody out, every game goes from good to great when you crack open a Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light. Coors Light is brewed with a 3-step cold process, cold lager, cold filter, and cold package, so it's actually made to chill. The mountains on Coors Light cold-activated bottles and cans turn blue. That's when you know it is chilled to perfection, which, besides the refreshing taste, is my favorite thing about drinking Coors Light. Refreshingly cold and only 102 calories. Coors Light is made to chill. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
You're listening to 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Looking for a fun new way to golf on Monday nights? The Bridges Golf Course in Madison is teeing up a brand new 2-person scramble league. Grab a friend and compete head-to-head in a relaxed format, men's, women's, or co-ed. Great for beginners and experienced players alike. Monday nights at the Bridges Golf Course in Madison.
It's well known that the boss at the exteriors company is a perfectionist.
It's a gift.
He not only oversees every job, he inspects each aspect of the operation to get to the root of what your project will actually need to be long-lasting.
Call 960-ROOF.
Oh, he's proud of all the reviews.
What can I say? Take a look.
The Exteriors Company, built for Wisconsin, backed by expertise.
This is Coach Greg Gard. I've lived my whole life in Wisconsin, and I know what people here value: hard work, honesty, and looking out for one another. That's exactly how Bank CMG approaches banking. They combine hometown values with modern tools to help people make confident financial decisions. When you want a bank that understands where you're coming from, Bank CMG makes sense. Visit bankcmg.com or stop by your local branch. Let's get to work.
Zimbrick Honda has been a proud part of the Madison community since 1973. They're your one-stop shop for over 250 new Hondas to choose from. Whether you're looking for a sedan, SUV, or truck, their selection of new vehicles is second to none. Stop in today at their location on Fish Hatchery Road and check out their full lineup of vehicles and find the one that's right for you, or browse the vehicle selection online at ZimbrickHonda.com. That's ZimbrickHonda.com. Shop local, shop Zimbrick Honda.
One call, that's all. It's not just a slogan, but a way of life at Gruber Law Offices. If you've been injured, call our team today. We've represented tens of thousands of injured Wisconsinites for well over 30 years. Trust Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut. Well, it's bracket season, and Pizza Hut's got the watch parties covered. And right now, get a large 3-topping pizza for just $10. Try it on Pizza Hut's new hand-tossed crust. Crispy and golden outside, soft and fluffy inside, and finished with garlic parm seasoning. Order today at pizzahut.com or on the Pizza Hut app. A large 3-topping pizza for just $10 on Pizza Hut's new hand-tossed crust. Pizza Hut, feed good times, and remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting ESPNWisconsinContests.com. That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com.
The sound of summer is back.
First offering to Freeland is a fly ball to right. It is high. It is deep. Bye-bye baseball. Second deck for Salvatore.
Your home for the Crew. 100.5 ESPN.
We'll talk to Evan Cohen of Unsportsmanlike shortly, but this is what piqued my interest yesterday. I don't know if Rob wrote a story about this yet or if that's still coming, but he posted this, I guess this would have been about 7:30 Arizona time last night. Packers president Ed Policy, speaking for the first time this offseason, discussed why he extended Matt LaFleur. Quote, I always believed you don't make football decisions out of emotion. Policy mentioned 7 years of data on LaFleur and not making a Super Bowl is, quote, on all of us. Now, Tausch likes to bring up what I said at 1:30 in the morning on my way back from Chicago.
I haven't done that in a while, though.
You have not. That's true, and I appreciate that. But what I didn't know then was whether or not Ed Policy would act on emotion, because we didn't really know about what his approach would be. And there are plenty of people, I think you would agree, owners certainly, who would have taken that loss and 5 straight losses to end the season, and the way they lost that game, and the team they lost that game to, in the arch-rival Chicago Bears. I mean, they lost to them twice, blowing leads twice in less than a month, and canned him. And the entirety of that clip from Green Bay game night, that was the discussion. We don't know how Ed Policy is going to react to this. This is not Mark Murphy. This is not the guy who hired Matt LaFleur. And I think it's interesting that he made it very clear. And, you know, I talked to people when the extension happened, and this is exactly what Ed Policy was thinking. So I know this is true. He did not want to be emotional. And, in fact, I passed along to him the poll that Bill Huber had done that we talked about on the show that around that time.
You passed the poll along to who?
To Ed Policy.
Did you really?
I did.
Did you send him a list of names of who you think you should replace LaFleur with? Too?
It was after he'd extended LaFleur.
Did you send him yesterday's? Hey, Ed, look, more people hate the Cubs than the Minnesota teams.
I did not send him that one.
You should send him that one we did way back, the best one ever, the Vikings, when we wanted him to lose in the NFC Championship game to get the most pain.
Interesting content.
And it was like a 7,000 or 8,000 person vote.
He's a big content guy. Sure, he doesn't do much to help us.
I think we need to look at like what is Policy poll send off worthy. Because I'd like us to start sending him our polls.
I'm happy to examine this.
Ed Policy, am I right?
That's not bad, Mr. Policy.
Anyway, Bill Huber's poll got like 18,000 votes, and it basically showed that about 1/3 of the respondents, which that is a majorly significant number of votes, wanted Matt LaFleur to not be the coach anymore. And if you had listened to the noise, which we certainly had plenty of it on the show after that loss of people calling in, you would have thought that everybody wanted him gone. Because nobody was calling with the unpopular opinion of, no, I think he's a good coach.
It was super weird, though, because the Green Bay game night, it was a Saturday night game, I believe. It was everybody. And then I'm sure Sunday Karma and all the stuff, and then Monday. But then by like Wednesday or Thursday, you could kind of see that it was turning a little bit.
Yeah. And again, I don't think he was wrong to extend him. Now, I do think that there are...
Well, we'll find out if he's right or wrong, right?
Yeah, I mean, if they reached an NFC Championship game, was he right? If they don't get to a Super Bowl in the next 3 years, was he right or was he wrong?
If they are the 7th seed the next 2 years and get knocked out in the first round of the playoffs, he was wrong.
Fair.
If they get to an NFC Championship game... I think with this Micah Parsons window, they need a championship in this Micah Parsons era. Which
I think we have a promo that you say that in.
Well, it's true. Yep. You don't make that move not thinking anything but that. And I'm sure that's why Goody did it. And if he had stayed healthy, you never know what would have happened. I do believe we would have been the 2 seed, and I would have loved, as what's-his-name says in the American Pro, I would have loved that race going into Seattle for the NFC Championship. That would have been fantastic.
Agreed
that's
on
not
everything.
how it played out.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So do you like this answer from Policy? Because
to you in a text message, or this is to Domofsky?
No, this is Domofsky.
Oh, okay.
I don't share my Ed Policy text messages.
How did he vote in the poll, though?
Which way? Well, he voted in the poll.
He did not.
He didn't even have to vote. He was the one vote that mattered.
He didn't know about the poll till I sent it to him. My point is that I think there's a lot of people that would have liked him to act emotionally and have a new coach. And I would rather have someone who is more clinical in their approach and isn't reacting to the fan base. At the same time, I have to acknowledge that the John Andersons and the Josh DiMaggios of the world, and we'll get into something John Anderson said last week, a little bit later in the show, but the people that don't think Matt LaFleur should be the coach, they could be very well right. Like, I disagree with them, but that doesn't mean that I'm right and they're wrong. And it doesn't mean that this was the right decision. And had he done it something emotionally and hired someone else and maybe even changed the structure and let Goody hire someone else, that doesn't mean that that would have been the wrong thing. Coaching changes often lead to championships. Look at Seattle, moving on from Pete Carroll.
Look at Gruden and Tony Dungy. Like,
right.
there is a lot of precedent that goes the other way. There's not a ton that go this way. Ask Buffalo. Well, we're close. We're close. And now, wouldn't it be something if Joe Brady ends up leading the Bills to a championship?
Yep, exactly. We got to get to Evan Cohen of Unsportsmanlike, but we can't do that until Tausch tells us about our membership at UW Credit Union.
All three of us, bunch of UW alum, and we are in every stage of life. UW Credit Union is here forever. You, proudly serving Wisconsin for over 90 years. They're going to help you reach all of your financial goals. And if you're ready to give fees the stiff arm, nice. UW Credit Union can help. No monthly fees, overdrafts that never cost more than $5. That saves members over $12 million per year. They have the great app. They have early checking. They got everything that you're looking for. Join today at uwcu.org. Insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions do apply.
Evan Cohen of Unsportsmanlike joins us next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
NBA Thursday on ESPN Radio. Luka, LeBron, and the Los Angeles Lakers head to Oklahoma City to face Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the NBA leading Thunder. Coverage begins Thursday at 9 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Presented by Indeed.
Mark Tauscher here for Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie, the name you can trust. Well, it's the time of the year when everybody is thinking about travel. Whether you're still finalizing details for a spring getaway or you're already on to thinking about where you'll be headed for a summer road trip, don't let vehicle maintenance be what slows you down. Make sure your vehicle is in its best shape possible every time you're getting ready to hit the road by stopping in to see the amazing service team at Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie. Routine maintenance is critical for keeping your vehicle in the best shape possible. Oil changes, tire rotations, tune-ups, and so much more. Get it checked out before you hit the road so you're not stranded when you're away from home. And if you're in the market for a vehicle upgrade, check out Zimbrick Chevy's new and used vehicle inventory. You can start your search by logging on to ZimbrickChevrolet.com. Stop in to Zimbrick Chevrolet on Main Street in Sun Prairie and discover this great automotive team that I've been telling you about for years. Consistently recognized as a best of Madison operation, Zimbrick Chevrolet on Main Street in Sun Prairie is the name you can trust.
You ever notice that some people are picky when it comes to their beer? But Yuengling gets it. That's why they brew a beer for every taste. Start with a legend, a Yuengling traditional lager, a smooth amber lager that's been around longer than our great football rivalries. Then there's light lager. It's crisp and easy drinking. Golden Pilsner with a clean, refreshing taste, and the Black and Tan, a perfect blend of porter and Pilsner. Whether I'm tailgating, watching the game at a sports bar, just kicking back, I'm reaching for a Yuengling. Yuengling, the oldest brewery in America. DJ Yuengling & Son, Pottsville, PA. Enjoy responsibly.
Make your fitness goals last with Johnson Fitness and Wellness, the largest specialty fitness retailer in the country with 2 locations right here in Madison. At Johnson Fitness and Wellness, you'll find top-rated treadmills, strength equipment, ellipticals, bikes, and more, all guided by certified fitness experts who match the right equipment to your goals, space, and budget. And with white glove delivery and installation, plus flexible financing options, you can build your home gym with confidence. Visit one of their stores today or online at johnsonfitness.com.
Wisconsin weather doesn't wait, and neither should you. At Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, we make upgrading your home simple. Right now, order today and get 0% interest until 2032. You heard me right. 0% interest all the way until 2032. Upgrade your windows and doors now and pay over time without paying interest. With our 10-year limited warranty, you can feel confident in your investment. Schedule your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. 3/31/2026.
To those who've ever dreamt of their perfect event, those dreams are worthy and they are possible. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With hard work, passion, and great music, we will make your event dreams a reality. Every event is a labor of love with one-on-one planning, customization, and flawless execution. Bringing your event to life is what we do. For a fun, memorable event, visit celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Hi, this is Lee, inviting you to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. We got a great happy hour every day of the week from 4 o'clock to 7, and our patio during the summer is open too. If you're getting married, special occasion, a birthday, anniversary, or even a business meeting, we've got all the accommodations right here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. You work hard and sometimes you're not sure what you want to do, where you want to spend your money. I want to encourage you to come into Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and say hello. It'd be a pleasure to meet you.
Mark Tauscher here, and you know I love a smart play from the pocket. That's why I joined UW Credit Union. With their mobile banking app, I can make smart plays from anywhere. And with rewards checking perks like early payday, I score my money sooner. Stop by any of their local branches or visit uwcu.org to join and make the smart play by becoming a UW Credit Union member like I did. Federally insured by NCUA, terms and conditions apply.
Evan Cohen on Wilde and Tausch is brought to you by Johnson Fitness and Wellness, the largest specialty fitness retailer in the country. Shop in-store or online at johnsonfitness.com.
When I was thinking about Evan Cohen's appearance today on the show, my first thought was, because obviously he has a national perspective as opposed to us, who are, focused obviously locally. I really want to ask him, what exactly is the national view of what Matt LaFleur confessed to yesterday? So let's bring him in now on the Yuengling guest hotline. Yuengling, the oldest brewery in America and now officially in Wisconsin, family owned and operated for 6 generations. DJ Yuengling and Son, Pottsville, PA. Enjoy responsibly. It is Evan Cohen of Unsportsmanlike on Wilde and Tausch. Evan, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, guys. How are you?
So I like the fact that Matt LaFleur was, candid about the fact that they had players last season who were unhappy with their roles and that it, quote, took a toll on our football team. I'm guessing that my opinion is not a universal opinion, and that this is also, in the minds of some, a bad look for the Packers head coach. When you heard that, what did you think?
Well, which part was a bad luck, you're saying? The admittance of it or that it happened?
That it wasn't
addressed,
happened.
That you weren't communicating with your players well enough that they knew what their roles were and they weren't disgruntled.
But why do you think he wasn't? See, this is the thing that I think that what he did yesterday was admit failure, but I don't know that which way we understand the failure to be. In other words, did he not address it? Or did he try to address it and it didn't work? Either way, in any leadership position, it is your job to figure things out, and it's not always easy to do. And every single person is coached up differently. I mean, the two of you, not to get too personal, have had an unbelievably successful show, but are made up very differently, right? If somebody's going to work with Mark versus working with Jason, you got to do it differently. And that's not to say one is better than the other.
Thank you, Jesse. This just tells you how heroic Jesse is back here.
Yeah, some have said Jesse Lombardi. I mean, Nelson is what normally he goes by, but Lombardi, according to others.
Not the first time I've heard that.
Heroic. Yeah, I don't know. Is it Lombardi? Is it Alvarez? I get confused in terms of the legendary status of one Jesse Nelson. But you two are made up differently on the same team, in the same starting lineup. Right? And so how do you go about that? So did Matt LaFleur yesterday admit he never addressed it, or he tried to address it and it didn't work? That's what I'm not sure of.
Yeah,
and I also don't know who he's talking about specifically.
Well, we had a list that we put out yesterday, and we'll tell you who those people might have been.
Well, why don't you tell me the name of the movie?
Why? Thank you, Kramer. I don't know, and that was not the follow-up in Arizona, but I got the impression.
What, are you taking shots at those who were following?
No,
us?
I'm not at all.
It sounds like it. Tausch, what do you think about that? Sounds like
it's too early in the show for me to do that. I'm not going down that road.
Okay.
And I don't know what Matt LaFleur would have said had someone asked him, hey, well, did you try to communicate? Did you feel like you were communicating rules clearly? Because after the fact, he admits, we need to do a better job of communicating. Obviously, this means we weren't communicating well enough. That's not what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if you thought you were communicating sufficiently when this was actually happening and you didn't know how disgruntled they were.
And Jason, is it assumed wide receiver? Is that what we're assuming?
That's definitely a piece
we did
of
have
it,
a few on the list, yeah.
There's 2 or 3 wideouts on there, yeah.
Okay, so is it one of those things where people say, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks? There is an aspect of this of maybe we all celebrated the Packers wide receiver depth last year, and maybe the problem was that they had too many wide receivers.
This is a thought that I have had multiple times, that there's no clear-cut number one, and there's a bunch of guys that all think they're deserving of that. And as Tausch astutely pointed out, wide receivers are always feeling like they're not getting theirs, and it comes down to the quarterback managing that group to make sure that doesn't become
Jordan
a big problem.
Love shots. I like where we're going here. Wow, throwing out the first pitch. And
Are you?
now you're
I'm
throwing
sorry.
out the
I was
first pitch.
told you haven't been on the show lately. Are you looking to stir the pot because you've had a few days off from your show? Is that what's happening here?
You just put it on the quarter. I love how Jason says, I was told, as if it's not public for the nation to hear or see. We have a pretty big platform. But, yes, you were told correctly, Jason. No, what I'm saying is, if you are correct in that wide receivers by nature want the ball, and if the quarterback is not doing a good job of explaining why, hey, wide receiver A, I need you to block so wide receiver B can do X, Y, and Z, that is on the quarterback and the coach. I mean, here's what it comes. No, I'm not looking to stir the pot more than normal. Here's what it keeps coming back to, okay? It is the same question masked differently that we continue to have. What exactly are Love and LaFleur? Not bad, obviously. Both long-term deals. Both have the belief of the franchise, even with a new person running it. I know he was there, but it's, to me, a new person running it. Mm-hmm. What are those two?
I think it's a fair question. And it's one, you're right, we've asked it a lot.
But differently. It's like every time we ask it, it's for a new reason. It's, contract extension time. Is it, in comparison to other teams in the division because of all of the hype around the Bears and then previously the Lions and then Kevin O'Connell, everybody says is God's gift to coaching. And I'm not saying he's not, but we keep asking this question about these two and we just do it different ways. And it's kind of a wild thing to think because we still don't know.
Jason, who of those two has evolved better over the course of their career in Green Bay?
First of all, that's a really good question. Second of all, I just wanted to make a quick point before I answer it.
Sure.
And that is that when Tausch said that yesterday, I didn't take it as necessarily an indictment of Jordan Love. Look, I think it's two things that are combined that create whatever that environment might be in that wide receiver room, despite thinking that Christian Watson is a good leader, because Christian Watson didn't play the first half of the season. It's that there's no Jordy Nelson's the guy, Devontae Adams is the guy.
Yeah,
Greg
you remember
Jennings
when
is the
the
guy.
old receiver coach said they asked who the number one is and said, we'll find out when we pay him? Well, nobody's gotten paid yet.
Correct, exactly. So I think that's part of it. And then to Tausch's point, you had two quarterbacks who had very strong personalities, and if there were disgruntled wide receivers, they were going to take care of it. And Jordan Love is not the same type. He's more one-on-one conversation leader than get after guys.
But you can still address guys one-on-one and handle the business. You don't need to go into the receiver room and make a big spectacle. You could pull Matthew Golden aside and say, hey, you're a young guy with a future is bright. We love it. You're going to be great for us. You got to start doing X, Y, and Z at practice better. You need to do this. If you want to get more reps, you need to do this. Stick with it. Don't get disgruntled. Don't be pouting. And I don't know if he was pouting. You'd have to answer that.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
That is where
is that really a possibility that Matthew Golden as a rookie was the one that's behind this?
We had the draft yesterday, and Jesse did a fantastic job of putting it up on Digi and doing the whole thing. I drafted him first because part of it is from some of the insight Jason provided with his interview with Matthew Golden, and also common sense tells me yes, because here you have a highly spectacled, everybody adored, oh my God, we finally drafted a wideout one. He's going to come in and make a difference. Watson's not in there. He's going to make this big splash. And he had one game early in the season where he had a couple of big plays. And then for whatever reason, I know he was dinged up a little bit, but then it was almost like, where is he? And I'm sure he felt that because he was the man at Texas. He was the first-round pick coming into a storied franchise, and Mark Murphy made the big deal and all this stuff. And he didn't get the opportunities that he would have thought he deserved. So do I think he was disgruntled? I do. And that's why I drafted him 1.
That's on the coach. I will tell you, that's on the coach, and I'll tell you why. Or it's on the organization as a whole. So the basketball team I root for, the Miami Heat, famously, really does not play rookies often. And if you do, if you are a rookie and you play, it is because you have earned your time in such a way. But that's, pretty known, right? It's pretty known. It's pretty established. It's like the de-recruitment. Tausch, I'm sure, well, actually you're a bad example because you've been an underdog your whole life. But, I'm sure a highly recruited guy comes into Madison that Coach Alvarez recruited the hell out of. And then he gets there, and Coach Alvarez is like, you've done nothing here. Are you kidding? Who do you think you are, right? And so maybe that was not communicated to Matthew Golden of cool, you were great at Texas. You're a first-round pick. You're the first-round wide receiver we've picked in forever. But, you ain't done anything like Watson or Dobbs when healthy. Who do you think you are? Jaden Reed's already ahead of you. What? You're not anybody for this team. You got to prove this. Was that communicated that way? I don't know.
Well, Evan, I think that gets into the other part of our discussion that we had yesterday, which is, are we dealing with a different type of player with – and again, I want to – let me circle back for a second. We don't know exactly how Matthew Golden felt. We don't know the degree to which he was disgruntled. I talked to him late in the season, and he was frustrated, and he was downtrodden that he was not having a more productive rookie season.
Downtrodden, frustrated?
I would guess that he was.
Okay.
And we talked about the fact that the 2 wide receivers drafted ahead of him, Teteroa McMillan and Emeka Ibuka, both were on their way to leading their team in receptions and yards, and here he is, basically the 6th man. So
they're also physically enormous human beings, and he is not.
Well, and they went into situations where those teams drafted him. I understand that they had Mike Evans in Tampa, but he is toward the end of his career. They didn't even bring him back now. They went into different situations.
This is why the Packers don't draft wideouts 1. This is why it's 24 years. Because they have a ton of success. Let me finish. Okay, go ahead.
I'll decide if it. You just stumbled on something. This is a weird way of asking this. Did the Packers cave to peer pressure in the draft?
No, I don't think so. You think it was because it was in Green Bay they felt that? The Packers do things a certain way because they see, just like they draft quarterbacks when other teams don't, because they see the value in sitting. They look at the wide receiver position, not at the same level, but they look at the wide receiver position very similarly. You have, fortunately, 30 years of Pro Football Hall of Fame quarterback play. Those quarterbacks are not going to allow mistakes and the growth that it takes for young players. So they realized, instead of putting that pressure, which a first-round pick, there's always more pressure than a second. Jordy Nelson was a second-round pick. There wasn't pressure on him. He ended up earning opportunities as that season unfolded his rookie year, but there was nobody saying Jordy needs to be in here and be one of our big producers.
Totally true.
So all of those things, Greg Jennings, kudos to him. He had a good rookie season, but there was nobody saying he has to do this. Now, he earned it, and he went out there and he had Favre's trust pretty early, but that has been the Packer way. they skewed from that a little bit, and maybe that's part of the disgruntlement.
Yeah, but I wasn't saying because it was in Green Bay, but that's fair. But I was saying more because did they hear all the noise for so long, and it's like, all right, we're going to satisfy the noise?
I think what you're asking, but you're a little worried about getting clipped, is did Green Bay, with hosting with Mark Murphy being his last thing, and he had the speech queued up, did he and the organization feel like they needed to do this to acquiesce to the fans that have been so good to them to give them a bone in the biggest stage Green Bay has had? That's what you're asking.
I'm definitively not afraid to get clipped, so that's not.
He's definitely not. He's definitely not.
Yeah, I don't. What do I care? You know how much crap I say on a daily basis? I get clipped all the time. Like,
some
really
of us are aware, yeah.
I've heard that. I've been told that you say a lot of crap.
Yeah, by yourself. You're the one telling yourself that I say that. Yeah, I think, again, let's just go back to the beginning here. Everything you guys are saying / asking would indicate something's a little bit off, and we don't actually know what's going on with this franchise right now. And I think you both, as Tausch, as a Packers fan, and Jason, I will say it this way, it is in your best interest for this team to be as good and interesting as possible, to tell the most stories as possible. Well, they're certainly giving you stuff, but maybe not in the way you thought.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
So, Jason, let's circle back to. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think
it's good to have you two back together again.
Well, I think we all thought that they were going to be beyond this right now. Whatever this is.
Yeah, I didn't. And Evan, I don't know if you heard Matt LaFleur say he's ready to strip it back down to day one. I'm like, we don't want that. We want that 3 years of growth that we have. Now, I understand what he's saying.
That's a confident coach, Tausch. That's somebody that doesn't think that there's any chance if he has a bad season, he's going anywhere.
I don't think he feels like he's going to have a bad chance. I think he is viewing it in the light of, we got some young players. We're going to, reset what we're doing. I thought it was an interesting quote, because most people would say, let's build off of the 3 years that we just had together as a starting quarterback, play caller, head coach, and he's doing the opposite of that.
Again, what are they?
They are a good but not great team. That's what we've been the last 3 years. Mm-hmm. That's where we're at.
Okay, what should they be?
I think we should be further along than where we're at. Okay. Jordan Love has done. I would say this: Jordan Love has improved as much as I could have ever imagined when they threw him into that starting role, from where he was to where he finished last season. The confidence that he's playing with, and he has developed, I think, almost exactly what I had hoped. I don't know if you could say that about everybody else.
Interesting. And who are you referring to?
First off, I look at the O-line. And that group has gotten worse over the last 2 years. And that has been a big reason why the offense hasn't been consistent. That's a big reason they can't close up games. That's a big reason why they've given up these leads. Defensively, you put all this time into creating turnovers, and what did they do last year? They didn't create turnovers. So now you got a new defensive coordinator. We'll see how that turns out. So there have been things that I think we just assumed we'd see grow and get better, and that they have not. As a matter of fact, in some cases, not in a ton, we've regressed.
Yeah. Tausch, do we then have to ask questions about the guy that you and I have supported?
I have said all offseason, I still think Brian Gutekunst is a really good GM, but I've had to take a beat and look back and say, especially when it comes to how he's handled the offensive line, it hasn't been good. I've said that very clearly.
Your stand-up has taken a hit for him, you've said.
Yeah, well, it is what it is, man. The results are the results, and you can have the greatest processes ever. And I think Brian Gutekunst had a good draft last year. I think his draft with Kraft and that group has been obviously a very good draft class. But I am questioning his draft and replace strategy. That has not been the Green Bay way.
What it is, and the results are the results. You only get that at Wilde and Tausch with Mark Tauscher. Wow, it is what it is, and the results are the results. Did Jesse write that for you? That was really insightful, Tausch.
I'm confused.
Your name wrong.
What are you talking about?
He's making fun of you.
Take.
What do you mean he's making fun of me?
Is the results of the results? You need to get paid for that take?
I don't know. I'll see. Today's the end of the month. We'll find out. Oh, if you want to start doing this, I'll start writing quotes of stuff you're saying, and I'll make sure to send it over to you. I could probably do 4 of those an hour if that's.
If
you want
don't?
to play this game? No, not to the degree that I could. What I'm saying, the results, Evan. This
Chippy.
it's not. This is a different. Sports is a different world. You can have all these great processes, but the bottom line is you're going to be judged on your results. This isn't hard. You're asking me if my Goody Standham, if we didn't won a Super Bowl, I'd say he's the greatest GM ever because you know what? They put it together and it won. John Schneider picked up Rashid Shaheed, and that move alone probably got him a Super Bowl. So it's a great move. I don't know, like you're picking at me about it, but I don't understand what you're picking at about because this is black and white. Like you win or you lose, if you.
Be wrong, you and I, because we have been the 2 biggest supporters of Brian Gutekunst at different times, saying that I've said, I don't know if you said it this way, I have said at different times, I believe he's the best general manager in the sport. Well, that's ridiculous.
He's
right
not
now
anymore,
with
no.
John Schneider and Howie Roseman run circles around him. And you know what? Jason will love what I'm about to say. And I think there's a chance that if Elliott Wolf is actually running the Patriots, that he runs circles around them.
Huh.
And I say actually not to be insulting, but more so I actually don't know who truly is running it because they are doing a good job of just getting the right people. And you would have thought Elliott Wolf would have been gone by now, and he's not even close. Just because he was brought in by Belichick and not Vrabel. Anyway.
All right, Jason, can you answer the question that I swung around and now we've went on a 10-minute tangent?
I can't remember what it was.
Who has evolved
All right, I'm fine
more?
hanging out. My family's waiting for me downstairs.
What do you got going on?
Where are you going?
What are you doing today? Tell us more.
I'm in Los Angeles. I have a flight to catch, and I'm waiting to shower because I just ran, and I got to go to the breakfast and then go to the airport.
Oh. What are you doing out in L.A.? What's going on out in Los Angeles?
We went to the Lakers game Friday. We went to the Lakers game last night. Did a bunch of touristy stuff in between. Little visit to ESPN LA.
Okay.
A lot of Lakers games.
What's the touristy stuff? Did you go to the Hollywood sign?
We did.
Oh, you go down, what's that little walkway that everybody loves going to?
We did. Yep, the walkway. Yep, also known as the walkway.
If you're being honest, you love your family, you can't stand doing that stuff. Just be honest with us.
Why would I be dishonest? They know that. I've told them that. I'm like, let's hurry this up. I want to go back and check Twitter.
You want to break down that Heat game from the night before.
Go to the Intuit Dome.
I watched it. I watched the Heat and Sixers in the Uber to the Lakers game last night.
Yeah.
No,
All right,
I love Los Angeles.
All right. So I assume you don't have to talk to ESPN LA then, since you're catching a
No, but I
flight.
have to go in a sec. I really do have to go.
He's literally in L.A. He's got to go do an appearance at ESPN L.A. before he hits his flight.
I did that yesterday. I went in studio.
Wow.
Evan, we appreciate your insights. Yes. Safe travels home, and we will continue this discussion without you. Bye.
Just one quick thing.
Of course.
I just say this. This is now, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we are entering year number 3 of, what are LaFleur and Love? How much longer can Packers fans be okay with not having an answer to the question? Not getting rid of the guys. That's not what I'm saying. But just not having a clear cut.
I just told you what the answer is. They're good, not great.
That was like a big send-off. That wasn't like a real question.
The results are the results.
Well, it is what it is.
What it is. It is. Jerry Seinfeld has a great bit on it. It is what it is. That if you say the same thing twice, it just has big impact. You look that up. You'll both crack up from that.
Okay, we'll do that.
Have a safe trip home. Thank you. Goodbye.
Safe trip home. Safe trip home. Bye. Bye.
That is Evan Cohen live from Los Where
I need another vacation. Oh man.
What happened there?
I'm not quite sure.
What happened?
That's a good
where?
question.
He's attacking me.
For you, yeah. What happened?
He attacks me. There's sometimes it's fun. That was an attack mode by him. I'm not going to just sit back and be attacked. I'm going to attack back.
Are we paying you for takes like that? I thought that was a bridge too far. I thought that was uncalled for.
Well, it was nice of you to have my back, Jason. Thank you.
I thought I did.
No, I actually think in your own way you did.
Now that Evan has blown up our show, we'll continue next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Unsportsmanlike's Evan Cohen on Wilde and Tausch is brought to you by Huracan Bank. Founded by inventors and fueled by community, Huracan Bank has been helping Wisconsin businesses grow for 130 years. Now serving Milwaukee, Huracan Bank, doing good for 130 years.
Get ready to unleash the dragon at Hard Rock Casino Rockford.
Introducing the region's very first $1 million Dragon Link slot game. Feel the thrill, chase the excitement, and win big. With jackpots soaring to $1 million, your chance to hit it big is here. Come experience the ultimate gaming adventure. Visit Hard Rock Casino Rockford today and play the $1 million Dragon Link slot game. Your legendary win awaits. Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Let's hard rock.
If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You, rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute brought to you by your Badgerland Chevy dealers, proud supporters of Badger Athletics. Go to BadgerlandChevy.com. Homegrown studs. Pro Football Hall of Famer Joe Thomas talking the state of Wisconsin football. Thomas excited to see Badger in-state commitments grow. The Badger legend on the pride hometown recruits carry.
If you got a guy who's from Wisconsin and he's just as good as a guy from Texas or Florida or wherever else, and you grew up and you wore a Badger jersey, it's going to mean a little bit more. The biggest mistake that they did make is not remembering that the core of the program is always going to be built with kids that grew up wearing Badger red.
Order today and get 0% interest until 2032 at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Upgrade now, pay no interest until 2032. Visit PellaWI.com.
Homer here from ESPN Wisconsin. Founded by inventors, fueled by community, and focused on business for 130 years, Huracan Bank has helped Wisconsin businesses grow, doing banking differently since 1896. If you're a local business, that same local approach is part of the Milwaukee business community, bringing decisions closer to you. Financing approved in days, not weeks. Bankers who understand your business. Products built for real cash flow needs. When it comes to commercial lending, Huracan Bank gets the job done. Together, doing good for 130 years.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Stop in for an express oil change at Fish Hatchery Road on Saturdays. No appointment necessary. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
Ben Brust here for the Princeton Club. If you're looking for your better tomorrow, you know where to go. It's the Princeton Club. If you're looking to grow, it's also the Princeton Club, because they will cheer for you in all areas of your life. The best way to do that is to start a foundation of having a healthy body, and your growth will start from there. With the cleanest health clubs in Wisconsin, they provide everything for you to reach your goals. Start your better tomorrow today and grow in all areas of your life at the Princeton Club. Join for a better tomorrow.
This update sponsored by UW Credit Union. For every stage of life, UW Credit Union is here for every you. Fans, here's the Quick Trip to the Ballpark ticket offer. Spend $200 at participating Quick Trip locations and get a free Terrace Reserve ticket to a 2026 Brewers home game. Check brewers.com/quicktrip for more details. Join UW Credit Union at uwcu.org. Insured by NCUA.
My husband had purchased something at another store. He was very unhappy with the quality of it. We went into Chalmers and just started looking around and kind of got inspired to do something together that was unique for us.
It really isn't any more expensive to do a one-of-a-kind custom piece.
I love it. It's beautiful. I get a lot of compliments on it.
Turned out how I hoped it would.
It really makes me feel good to wear.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
Thanks, I think, to Evan Cohen for joining us from Los Angeles as he travels home after a trip with his family.
I don't know if there's anybody that probably likes vacationing less than Evan Cohen.
Is that true?
Yeah. Like, do you think he likes going on vacation?
Jason.
No.
No, I like, again, I understand.
I don't want to get into that. That's not that.
I understand that people go to Florida without me in my house.
Don't want to get into what?
I just don't want him snapping at me.
Yeah, he stays home every year.
I'm not going to do that. But Evan, he is perfectly content playing tennis. Now, if he calls going down to his palatial estate in Florida, vacation, okay, maybe that's, I don't know. If you have a second home, is that considered vacation? I don't know the rules on that.
Yeah, I don't either.
In this case, like when he was saying he was going down to the Hollywood sign and all this other stuff, I'm just thinking he's miserable. Don't care. He loves his family. There's no doubt. But come on. He might be the least of everybody at GKB. And I think I could he would be, like, if you want to be the best in the world at something, he would probably be in that 0.001% best of the world in hating vacations.
So I guess I don't understand because, and I appreciate you not wanting to irritate me. I enjoy vacations very much. What I don't enjoy are going to the beach every day and reading a book. I like going places and doing stuff. And by the way, the vacation that he took, I don't want to go to a Lakers game. But do I want to go see the Hollywood sign? Do I want to go to Disneyland? Do I want to go to the Santa Monica Pier, which I think is what you were referring to when you called it the walkway?
No, it's a Chinese where you see the stars and all that stuff.
The stars on the sidewalk. The Walk of Fame.
I thought you were thinking of the street with all the shops that everybody goes to.
Rodeo.
Yeah. That's walkway.
All those
really
things.
5 different things.
All those things count me in.
They got all the stars on there.
I want to do all that. Yes. I don't want to sit on the beach. Anyway, what is it about him? You have a relationship with him that I don't. Although your friendship was a little odd when he was attacking you. What does he not like about vacations?
I think he's a routine. Like, he is a routine on routine cat. So anytime you're out of a routine, I think it just throws him into a tiz. That's why.
Okay. It is definitely odd that he would not enjoy vacations. But again, as you pointed out, I don't like going to the beach. So we all have our different feelings about trips. What I was going to ask you about is, what does it say now that he is also acknowledging that perhaps he was wrong when it came to his intense Goody stand-em as well?
You know, we all probably put him on a pedestal, we all meaning him and myself, on a lot of the things that he had done. And, his free agent acquisitions have been, for the most part, up until last season, I thought pretty dang good. Xavier McKinney and Jacobs, and, we go all the way back, and how he flipped that roster and how he's got
Jimmy Graham.
How he's put this team in position to win championships, I do believe. Well, the last couple of years, this team hasn't been good enough. Now, did he go out and make a big move in getting Micah? He did. That was what everybody was clamoring for. And could that have been the difference? Yeah, and unfortunately it hurt. And he got hurt, and it limited what this team could do. So, but the O-line has been, it's been his Achilles heel. And we all know how important O-line play is to winning. So when that is not the case, I can't sit here and, like Evan said, I can't sit here and say he's the best GM. There's a couple of years ago, I'd say, yeah, he's right there. I don't know who. He's brought in a young quarterback. He's maneuvered the Aaron Rodgers deal about as well as you could have. He's got a quarterback that's, the future. He's got a young coach that is, and I know he didn't hire him, but this team was really trending that way. And now I do think this team has hit a plateau. Whether or not we're going to stay there, or, the old adage in sports is you're never going to stay the same. You're going to get better, you're going to get worse. This team needs to get better. And have they gotten better this offseason? I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say they have. Now, when they get guys healthy, they will. But as we're sitting here with all of the transactions that have happened, has this team gotten better? No.
Not significantly.
Where have they gotten better?
I mean, I suppose it's possible.
Take the injuries out of it, and you're playing right now with the guys we lost compared to the guys we brought in. Where are we better?
They got a return guy.
We thought we had one with McCole Hardman a couple of years ago, too.
They got a guy who's been productive as an interior defensive lineman, but is also 33 years old. They got a less expensive linebacker option who has some veteran leadership, who may be the type of guy that would have been helpful to a locker room that had some disgruntled
where have they gotten
people.
better with no disclaimers? You can't disclaim.
I don't think I have any evidence to say they're better. No, I agree with you.
We better at backup quarterback? No. We better at O-line? No. We better up front? I don't know where Devontae Wyatt's at health-wise. Like I don't know. Like, you take the injuries, and again, that's a huge chunk of this team are guys that got injured that need to be back and playing at a high level. Yeah, we think that'll be the case, but we don't know that. Are we better in the secondary? I don't know. But who do we pick up? We got that one dude from the Chargers. I don't even know his name.
Benjamin St. Juice.
I don't know how good he is. I haven't gotten my scouting report from you on how physical he is. I don't know.
Got to break down that film. All right, we need to get to the 10 o'clock hour, and I need to tell you about Behind the Bucks, the fantastic podcast that you can find on the Bucks Plus Audio Network, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. I know times are tough right now, so maybe it's worth going back in time and listening to Charlie Berens narrate the story of the 1987 Bucks who took on the world, including the Russians. That's right now the story that's being told, narrated by Charlie Berens on Behind the Bucks, presented by Gallagher. You can find Behind the Bucks on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the new ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get your podcasts. Behind the Bucks, presented by Gallagher. The 10 o'clock hour starts in 2 minutes, so stick around.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
$2.3 million. A recent Schwab survey of Americans says that it takes $2.3 million to be wealthy. Well, you may have had your financial plan set on a bigger or a more humble number. But if you're looking for added insights on how to get there or how to avoid some tax pitfalls on the way, Annex Wealth Management is ready to listen. Mark Tauscher here, and whether your situation is complex or simple, the Annex Wealth Management team can give you wealth expertise and guidance on reaching your goals. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Hi, this is Dave Kane. You're listening to Madison's Home of the Bucks, a good Karma brand radio station, 100.5 ESPN WTLX, Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison and streamers everywhere. I'm Jesse Nelson. Sports Center brought to you by Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison for generations. Check them out, 220 State Street, and online at goodmansjewelers.com. Good news, bad news for the Milwaukee Brewers. Bad news, they lost 3-2 last night to the Tampa Bay Rays at American Family Field. Rays scoring the game-winning run in the top of the ninth inning. Brewers leaving a runner stranded in the bottom of the ninth. The good news is all of the teams, there were 5 of them entering Monday that were undefeated in Major League Baseball. They all lost, including the Brewers, which means the Brewers still have the best record in baseball after 4 games. Woo! Brewers and Rays back at it tonight, 6:40 first pitch at American Family Field. Pre-game coverage starts just after 6 o'clock following Jim, Matt, and Molly right here on Madison's home of the Brewers, 100.5 ESPN. You can also watch tonight's game over the air on TVW here in Madison and Fox 6 in Milwaukee. Because of the Brewers Bucks game tonight against the Dallas Mavericks, 7 o'clock tip at Fiserv Forum. You can listen to that on 1670 The Zone here in Madison. And women's college basketball, Wisconsin's postseason run came to an end in Wichita yesterday, 67-50. They lost to Columbia.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
The 10 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch begins now. And Jesse Nelson has something planned for us.
Oh, does he?
He does.
Jesse, what do you got planned for us?
Hey!
What is that?
I don't know.
That's
Laney,
Jason and Paula Wilde when they got married.
Laney just brought this in. Look at this. This is cute. Well, you're skinny here now. Look at how thin you are.
Yeah, I was in decent shape.
You're not in a furry costume either.
nor am I in a hoodie and shorts.
I'm guessing on the night of the 13th, Wilde was all dialed up into Grover.
Whoa, Nelly! 17 years it'll be in June.
Let's see. I have the dates right there. Paula and Jason Wilde.
Yeah.
June 13 of 2009. What a day that was. A day in infamy.
So how'd you get your hands on that?
A lot of hearts broken across the greater Green Bay, Dane County area. Huh?
For Paula no longer being available, yes. How'd you get your hands on that,
old boy? A fan sent that to our studio.
A fan?
What? Yeah, I got a note, and he or she had asked me to not reveal, and you are supposed to figure out who would have sent it.
Well, it would have been somebody that attended the wedding.
Maybe.
And decided that they didn't want that anymore.
Or they maybe went to Goodwill and found it and brought it in.
Well, that was nice of them.
You just got re-gifted Jason and Paula bobbleheads?
That is what I believe happened.
Well, so I had an agreement with Matt Hamilton that he was going to give me one of his bobbleheads of himself, gold medalist Matt Hamilton, curling, and I never received that, so I never gave him mine, and I'm very intrigued now how that has come into your possession. But I do look good. I was
look great.
Reasonably skinny back then.
Yeah, you look great.
Yeah, 17 years takes a toll on a man.
Doesn't really look like...
It does. Come on.
You think it does? Okay. It's all that really matters is that you think it does. All right.
You be the judge.
Okay.
He's got them too.
Yeah, I have a few extras, Jesse, if you want one. We had over 200 people at our wedding, but we ended up with a few extra bobbleheads if you're interested. Or apparently you just go to Goodwill. Jesse, what do you have planned for us during the 10 o'clock hour other than people sending in bobbleheads from my wedding?
By the way, was I supposed to say we had over 200 people at our wedding too, but you weren't one of them?
That's what I was setting you up for.
Say there? Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, here you guys are. There's front and center on the video stream if you're watching with us on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. It's Paula and Jason.
Yeah.
Okay, what do we have planned?
I think they have that in the Hall of Fame somewhere.
Our Hall of Fame? Wilde and Tausch Hall of Fame?
No, the Bobblehead Hall of Fame.
Ah, sure.
Phil Sklar.
So yesterday we did our draft of the disgruntled, unhappy players based on what Matt LaFleur had said. And near the end of the show, Tausch proposed the idea, let's flip the conversation today, and let's actually try and think about all the players who were happy with their roles last year, as opposed to what Matt LaFleur said of the players who were unhappy.
Think it's going to be a shorter list than yesterday?
It'll be harder to find. I know who I would have as the unanimous number one.
Micah Parsons.
Yep.
All right, Micah Parsons,
then I'm thinking,
number one.
But he's not, because he's rehabbing a blown-out knee.
Like, yeah, but he's happy with.
Well, that's not your role.
He got paid. Yeah. He loved his role. They let him do whatever. I mean, the previous defensive coordinator loved him.
He gets to do whatever he wants, which he should.
So my thought was we can divide this conversation, part one being the offensive players who were happy, part two being the defensive players, and we can talk about how they fit in the
Let's do the side of the ball that we think has the shortest list, since it's already somehow 10-16.
Well, which side do you think that is?
That's offense.
Yeah, I would tend to agree.
All right. So Jordan Love, was he happy?
Yes. Jordan Love would be at the top of the list offensively. Malik Willis would be, but he's not on the team anymore. So
that's fair. We're still looking back, so it's okay.
Okay.
Josh Jacobs, was he happy with his role?
I don't think so.
I would agree.
Why not?
Because he didn't enjoy getting hit behind the line of scrimmage as often as he
didn't have the success that he was looking for, and then he was banged up. He was all banged up and binged up. I don't think he felt great about his role last year.
Yep, I would agree with. I know it's our show's better when I disagree with him, but I agree with Tausch.
Tucker Kraft.
Oh, prior to the injury, yeah, he would be right there with Jordan.
Yeah, well, prior to the injury, yeah. After the injury, definitely not.
Who else?
I think Christian Watson, once he got back and healthy, was very happy with his role. Maybe I'm wrong, but I would think that he would be up at that list. Zach Tom got paid and I think was playing his position that he wants to play, so I think I'd put him, but he was banged up all year. It's pretty limited. None of the O-line.
None of the other
tight ends. Maybe Wiley. I mean, he caught a touchdown.
He did. What wide receiver would have been happy?
Romeo probably was okay with it, but I mean, he's just not. I mean, Watson, Kraft, Jordan, Malik. That's my list.
Emmanuel Wilson probably wanted the ball more.
Well, he's out of there.
That's why he went somewhere else.
I mean, Romeo Doubs is making my top 5, and that should tell you where we're at.
Yeah,
like the offense, I think there's a lot of disgruntlement on the offensive side of the ball.
I tend to agree.
So, did we miss that last year? Like, I feel like our eyes were open to this yesterday when Matt LaFleur said it.
We saw the Josh Jacobs disgruntlement, but it wasn't that big a deal because he was still out there and he was still doing it. And, you know,
and as Tausch always says, winning covers up a lot, and they were winning. They were 9-3-1. Let's not forget that. And then everything went to hell after that. But, like, even if there were guys that were disgruntled, they were winning anyway until they weren't.
Yeah, because I can't imagine Sean Ryan was all very gruntled. I don't think.
No, not when he gets benched and doesn't play
Jordan
against
Morgan
Arizona.
certainly wasn't. Maybe Belton probably was gruntled in a nice way. I think Belton got a lot of opportunities that he got.
Belton, after he got chewed out repeatedly in the preseason and even got
but that's ball.
Clipped.
That's ball.
Well, I do, and I did have this conversation with him. Like, I agree that that's ball, but I think when you're a young player and it gets the attention it got, remember when LaFleur ran up to him as they were coming off the field at halftime of a preseason game? Like, he was legit
he got
embarrassed.
a late hit or something. He did something dumb.
I mean, I'm not saying he didn't deserve it. He had penalties in that half. But my point is that is something that, as a rookie, he had to get used to. Like, I don't think he was prepared for that. So, and I'm intrigued. He's one of the guys this offseason, we haven't gotten into this yet, but he's one of the guys that I'm really interested to see if there's a big year 2 jump in his performance.
They need him to. He needs to.
I would agree. I don't think there's anybody that we left off that list, which is indicative of maybe why their offense.
So the top 3 guys, one of them blew his knee out midseason. One of them was a backup quarterback, just got broke off, and then Jordan Love. Those are your guys.
Yeah. And the other guy missed the first half of the season, coming back from an ACL tear that he suffered in the last game of the regular season the previous year.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not a lot of contentment. And again, you don't need it. You don't need it to be all content, but you don't want. I mean, I would think of 11 starters. I'd want at least half of them to be very happy with their role, and I don't think that's the case.
So, I just want to ask this now before we move to the defense. So, does this also mean that the Gutenator and the philosophy of how he has chosen to build the wide receiver room was erroneous? Was misguided? Like, is that because if people being unhappy with their roles, according to the head coach, quote, took a toll on our football team, and we think some of those people play a position that its default setting is to be less than thrilled with your opportunities, does building a wide receiver room where there's all a bunch of guys that are in the mix but nobody's the guy, does that exacerbate the issue that usually happens in that room anyway? And is that a bad way to build a wide receiver room?
I think it's very good to have roles. And I don't think it needs to be like they're set in stone, but you want to have guys know this is what's going to be expected of me. These are the opportunities that you're expecting. And I think Goody had hoped that things would have sorted themselves out better than they have. But realistically, with some of the injuries and some of the other things that occurred, that never took place. And when you have that, you end up with more. You don't have a sound, like, bordered deal. You have just a mass of stuff, and you're like, how do we make this work? Mm-hmm. That's hard to do. And so if I had to answer your question, I would say I don't think it worked out exactly. I think he likes the talent, but I don't know if anyone elevated to the degree outside of Christian Watson, and Christian Watson hasn't been able to do it consistently enough to make it feel like he is our guy, this is our bell cow. That hasn't happened. And now Matthew Golden's coming in. He's going to want to bell cow it. How you balance that's going to be very interesting. And then now you're not even looking at the guy that's led the team when he wasn't hurt in receptions in Jaden Reed. So it's a room that needs to figure it out. And I don't think you're going to add anybody else to it, but I don't know. Maybe you will.
All right, we'll get to the defensive side of the ball coming up next. And we will get to Hard Rock Casino Rockford a week from tomorrow on our little field trip.
Indeed, we are hitting the road to one of our favorite places. We're heading. Wilde and Tausch will be live. Do it live from the Hard Rock Casino Rockford next Wednesday, April 8th. Jason, myself, and Jesse, we haven't figured out who's driving yet, will be on site from 9 to noon for the show, and with over 175,000 square feet of gaming and entertainment, who knows what we'll get into at the Hard Rock after the show. Can't forget about the diverse dining options, museum-worthy memorabilia, and the sports book that I know. We'll look at some Brewers stuff. I'm sure we'll dabble with some preemptive Packers stuff as well. And, of course, head on down there. If you're over, how old do you need to be, Jason? 50? 55.
55.
If you're over 55, Wednesdays, they're the day to be there. You get 50% off of meals of $40 or less. Again, we'll figure out how to get that all redeemed. You go in, you get it done. Don't take any to-go orders, Jell. They ain't going to have your grandpa come down and get you.
Understood.
So you can't do that. Come see us next Wednesday. Wilde and Tausch will be live down at the Hard Rock Casino, Rockford, April 8th, in Rockford, right off I-90, that beautiful purple guitar, about an hour from Madison.
I heard a rumor this morning that I might have a family member or two that join us on Wednesday next week that would be eligible for that lunch. So we'll see how that all plays out.
I hope your mom makes the trip.
I hope she does for you too.
Okay.
Cool story, bro. More Wilde Tausch straight ahead. Stick around.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Hey, it's Jesse Nelson, and summer is coming, and for many, spring break this week or next week, and you got to start thinking now about a summer job. How about at Madison School and Community Recreation? They're hiring for many positions right now, including day camp and youth program leaders, outdoor adventure staff, support staff for individuals with disabilities, sports instructors, my personal favorite, officials, and more. Full and part-time positions, daytime and evening hours available. No matter your interest, no matter your schedule, no matter where you live, there's a position for everyone. At MSCR, you can make an immediate impact in the community and gain meaningful experience. Start your summer adventure today. Apply at MSCR.org. That's MSCR.org.
All day, every day, the Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
Wisconsin weather doesn't wait, and neither should you. At Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, we make upgrading your home simple. Right now, order today and get 0% interest until 2032. You heard me right. 0% interest all the way until 2032. Upgrade your windows and doors now and pay over time without paying interest. With our 10-year limited warranty, you can feel confident in your investment. Schedule your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. 3/31/2026.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker, And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
What's up, Madison? It's Stacy from Bruner Realty. You know that honeydew list that's been sitting on your counter since what, 2020? Yeah, we can handle that. From leaky faucets to light fixtures, our handyman team at Bruner Realty fixes it all. Fast, friendly, and done right the first time. We take care of it so you don't have to. Visit fixedbybruner.com. That's fixedbybruner.com. Because your to-do list deserves a happy ending.
$2.3 million. A recent Schwab survey of Americans says that it takes $2.3 million to be wealthy. Well, you may have had your financial plan set on a bigger or a more humble number. But if you're looking for added insights on how to get there or how to avoid some tax pitfalls on the way, Annex Wealth Management is ready to listen. Mark Tauscher here, and whether your situation is complex or simple, the Annex Wealth Management team can give you wealth expertise and guidance on reaching your goals. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 27 locations in this great state. Headquartered in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paints you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN.
All right, let's get to the defensive side of the ball. Jesse, refresh our fans' memory on what you're doing here.
So we're looking, instead of who was unhappy with their roles, as Matt LaFleur said several Packers players were last season yesterday at the NFL meetings in Arizona, we're looking at who was probably happy with their roles last year. So we've identified 3 or 4 on the offensive side that we feel pretty confident we're happy with their roles. I think that's what we're saying. Jordan Love, Malik Willis, Christian Watson, Tucker Kraft. We're confident in those 4.
That's all I got, too. There's nobody else I could even...
We're not saying Josh Jacobs.
No.
So those 4. All right. On the defensive side of the ball, then.
We agreed on Micah Parsons.
That's
who else
one.
is on our list?
I mean, I think Evan Williams and Xavier McKinney are both on there.
I would agree. Yep. That's what I was going to say.
That's 3.
None of the corners. I mean, Edgerrin Cooper would be. I don't know where he's at. I think.
Wait a minute. Keyshawn Nixon was CB1. He proclaimed himself CB1. He was CB1. You don't think he wasn't happy?
No, I don't feel like he was that happy.
Why not?
I just don't think he was. I think you never heard. Did you ever hear him? Really railing about how great he was. I just didn't. I might be wrong on this one. I didn't sense that Keyshawn Nixon was all that happy last year.
I didn't get that sense either. I'm Team Tausch on this. What I would say is he was glad to be the number 1 corner. I don't think he felt like he was appreciated or respected. I think he felt like people thought he was number 1 corner by default because they thought he didn't have anybody better. And he also probably, if he's the number 1 corner, felt like they should have addressed his contract and paid him like a number 1 corner. So, no, I'm Team Tausch.
Thank you, Jason. That was a better explanation when Jesse came at me, which was good. But it just didn't feel that was a vibes thing. I didn't have any concrete. I agree with you. Yep. I wouldn't say he was disgruntled.
No, he was just gruntled.
There you go.
The other corners, though, I mean, there's no way Carrington Valentine was happy.
No,
we had him on our list.
Very disgruntled.
And we don't think that Nate Hobbs was.
No, he was very gruntled.
I mean, maybe Kamal Haddon was happy. made the team and got an opportunity.
Bo
and
Melton
broke his ankle.
I'd say Bo was happy.
Does Bo count as offense or defense?
We'd probably put him on both sides and special teams. He'd be content.
And to your point about Edgerrin Cooper was not nearly as impactful as he had been as a rookie. And so is it possible? He never talked to us. I mean, he was never in the locker room. Now, we didn't like turn him into the league or anything like that, but I have no idea how he was feeling last year. I have next to no relationship with him. And so I don't have a vibe on him, but I would say that if I were to guess, and this is purely a guess, he would have liked to have been in more positions to make splash plays. And so if you make me choose him as a guy that was happy with his role, I would not. I would say no. I'm not going to. He might just be.
At some point. I mean, you got to read, react, and go make plays too. It's not like you're not going to blitz every time. So that's where, the Quay Walker part of it, where I know it sounds as if he was very disgruntled. He's out on the field 99% of the time. Like, go make plays. Mm-hmm. They're not. Coaches aren't telling you don't go make plays.
Well, are there also, and I'm not saying I don't know if he's this guy, but as I pointed out yesterday and as I pointed out in my story today, I mean, I have the quotes in there from what he said at his I mean, he sent a pretty clear message. He was not happy. He didn't think he was used correctly. But are there guys that you have encountered during your career as a player or after that it's always somebody else's fault? It's not because he's not reading and reacting. It's because he's not being used correctly. Or they're playing somebody ahead of me that they shouldn't be. Like, I don't know
Never
if
any
that's
great
him.
Players. There have been guys that have been solid, good players. But great players go make plays.
Right. Is there anyone that we're missing? Isaiah McDuffie was happy with his role.
The punter. I know we don't have special teams.
Colby Wooden? I don't think Colby Wooden was happy. I think Colby Wooden didn't think he was a nose.
That's probably why he's over in Indy.
Might be.
Did you say Wyatt? I'm sorry, I was doing something else there.
We did not.
Sorry, I was doing something else.
We did not say Wyatt. He might be. I would say he's not disgruntled.
Disgruntled, gruntled, or ecstatic about
we
the
should
role.
definitely not have the ratio of disgruntled to gruntledness, and we have that. At least in our own opinion. That doesn't mean we're right, but I would bet that we ain't wrong. It is what it is.
So how does it get to that point? Like, why are we here?
So I think a couple of things, and I just got a text from a buddy that's this I thought was an interesting point. On
Same
the
guy that
offensive
found
side.
the bobbleheads at the good
Here's the battle that you're having. You have what you think are some real star players, right? And unfortunately, they got hurt. Tucker Kraft, last year in the offseason, we're going to really involve him. We're going to probably go very tight end centric. When you do that, all of a sudden the running game not maybe as highlighted. The receivers not going to get as many touches. So the balance of having a guy, and Tucker Kraft is a star. He is a star tight end. I think he is, if he's not the top guy when he's healthy, he's the top 3 tight end in the league. Micah Parsons comes in. You're going to utilize him. So does that mean some of the other guys, Rashawn Gary and other guys? Now, I'm not buying that part of it. I'm just going to look at the offensive side of it. There's only one ball. And the receiving core wants the ball. The running back wants the football. How you go about utilizing a star at tight end and how you balance that is a Matt LaFleur. That's a tricky thing. And you could hear it last year. Now that I just think back, it's a good problem to have. It is until it's not. And when it's not, then all of a sudden you maybe guys aren't running their clear out routes the way they should with the amount of speed. Like, that's where you have to be cautious and worried about it, because that spacing is important. I don't know if that is exactly what happened, but when you start looking at it, when you have star players, you need to utilize them, and you need to have guys that will accept roles that aren't. And a lot of times, it's a heck of a lot easier to do that as an older player that has been paid. It's really difficult to ask Jaden Reed and Romeo Dobbs and Christian Watson and all of these other young guys to say, hey, man, you see this in the NBA all the time. There's young guys that will just go off, and they'll do their thing, and their team will be mid. And they won't but they're getting all their stats. And eventually, about year 6 or 7, they're like, man, there's got to be more than just me scoring 22 a night. That happens in the NFL too, but it happens usually after they had already gotten paid because players are selfish. They have to be. This business breeds it. And if you're going to be that way, you need to get your numbers so you get paid. And it's on the organization to figure out how to do that in a meaningful way. And it's on the players to figure out and see the big picture. But from the cheap seats where we're sitting, it's real easy to see the big picture. If I'm Matthew Golden or Jaden Reed, I'm not interested in the big picture. I'm interested in my picture.
So the other part of this then is what you just said at the beginning of that about getting paid. How much of that is a factor here? Because as we heard Jason Vrabel say once upon a time, the wide receiver who'll be wide receiver 1 is the guy who gets paid. I am curious when these guys are competing for second contracts. Jaden Reed, who missed most of the season with a broken collarbone and that foot injury. Dontavion Wicks, who had career lows in snaps, receptions, yardage, and touchdowns. Is this, again, when you build your wide receiver room the way that it was, setting yourself up for more issues because these guys are all competing for second contracts? And competition is good, right? You always say that, and you're right. But at the same time, these guys also know they got a GM who's getting up there going, hey, we're going to, 1.5 players from every draft class get paid. Well, if that's the case, you're not getting paid there. So I'm just wondering if this is, again, a flawed concept because all these guys know that production gets you paid. And nobody is looking at film when you hit free agency going, well, look at how often Dontavion Wicks is open, but he doesn't get the ball thrown to him. Or look at the percentage of these snaps that he plays.
Even if they do see that, you go in those negotiating rooms and they're going to say, well, you had 10 catches for this or you had this many targets. And that is what, City always said it, man. You can run block, but you get paid to pass block, especially when you have a star quarterback. Everybody kind of knows the formula. And when you're not hitting that end of your formula, you press. And the pressure mounts, and you start feeling it, and you start wondering how loyal and how bought in is everybody. And the great teams figure out partnerships. The teams that don't, it's mercurial. You got to figure out and you can't do it with everybody. I get it, but you have to have kind of a plan in place, and you need to be communicative about how you're approaching it. Sean McVay, he's got Devontae Adams in trade talks. He went and told him, hey, they didn't get blindsided by a Florio report or something else. He said, hey, we've been having some discussions here. Devontae didn't want to hear it, but I guarantee he respected the fact Sean McVay told him that.
Right. Agreed. Yeah. I got John in the YouTube comments, which, again, I do check those frequently. No, he thinks that you and I are wrong about Nixon. How can you not be happy as the number 1 corner and you tell your team you're not playing special teams and they make that happen for you? Again, I'm telling you that Tausch's feel, I got the same feel from him.
But maybe that's just he's got an edge and a chip on his shoulder his whole life. And there's no doubt he's got a chip on his shoulder. That might be part of the thing, and that's not a bad thing. But is he happy making $4 million? I can assure you he's not.
Right, exactly. And I think that
is he showing up to minicamp?
Into whether you're happy.
Will he be at minicamp?
It's a great question. I have not corresponded with him. I would love to know that. If he'd like to pull an Al Harris, he has my number. According to a source, Al Harris is unhappy with his contract. That's why he's not participating in the offseason program. And Mike McCarthy accusing me of making that up. If you force me to guess, I'm going to say no.
Okay.
But again, the question that I would have is, does he have a beef?
Well, if he's starting corner one and he's making $4 million, he's got a beef. Yes.
Okay. Well, then neither he nor Tucker Kraft should take a single snap until they've gotten new contracts. Is that what you're telling me?
Something tells me that the Packers are going to be drafting a young corner or finding a way. I don't think they envision seeing Keyshawn Nixon being their number one corner for the next 4 years. That I don't think is going to happen.
According to Spotrac, his base salary for this season is $4.3 million. He has a $500,000 per game roster bonus. So you get 1/17 of that every time you play in a game. And he has a $200,000 workout bonus that if he doesn't show up for the offseason program, he will be forfeiting. His cap number is only $7.17 million. So to your point, if he's vastly underpaid as their current number one, there's no way he's showing up. Which I think we probably have not thought about this enough.
No, we've talked. I mean, I've brought this up 3 or 4 different times, and I am going to be. That is one of the things. Once these, you know how there's always is Jordan Love going to be there? Well, he was there until training camp, and then he's like, I'm not practicing until the deal gets done.
Yeah.
There's always that. Well, did he show up? Oh, was he a week late because he went to, he's on some great trip? We're getting to be 3 weeks out from these guys reporting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good question.
I would think he would be one, and Tucker Kraft will be there. He's going to continue to rehab, but as far as him wanting a new deal before he gets out there and play, I think Goody and Russ are going to be more than happy to pay him what he's supposed to get paid.
So all right, we need to get to the Iron Jock contest, but one quick follow-up. So if Keyshawn Nixon does this, does he get the Elton Jenkins treatment?
Keyshawn? Yeah.
Sorry,
they
you're
might,
unhappy.
What my guess would be, you could maybe do some sprinkling. You do a little sprinkling for this year, but not committing to anything more, would be my guess.
Okay. Let's commit to the Iron Jock giveaway.
Jesse, what number do you want today? I'm going to let you pick what number.
Let's do 85 for Tucker Kraft.
Tucker Kraft, caller 85. You're going to get a chance to win at great, I believe we're giving away hoodies. That's what I think
that is correct.
We're still giving away that great Iron Jock hoodie. Caller 85 at 844-770-3776. And as a former athlete, I've worn just about every kind of workout gear there is. Nothing compares to Iron Jock. Their performance apparel built to fight sweat, odor, and bacteria, and it keeps you feeling fresh no matter how hard you work. From the gym to the pickleball court, Iron Jock will keep you dry, comfortable, and confident. Now through April 5th, you spend $50, you get 30% off, and we're going to throw you 2 free pair of socks with the code SOCKS2. That's socks and the number 2 for the Iron Jock special. Iron Jock helps you look good, smell good, and keep showing up. Shop now at ironjock.com.
Caller 85 wins the hoodie from Iron Jock, 844-770-3776. More Wilde and Tausch straight ahead. Stick around.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut. Now you know I've loved Pizza Hut going back to the days when I was a kid participating in their legendary Book It program. I loved it then, and I love enjoying Pizza Hut, making new memories with my family today. And speaking of making memories, it's bracket season, and Pizza Hut's got the watch parties covered. Get a large 3-topping pizza for just $10. Try it on Pizza Hut's new hand-tossed crust, crispy and golden outside, soft and fluffy inside, and finished with garlic parm seasoning. Order today at pizzahut.com or on the Pizza Hut app. Feed good times with a large 3-topping pizza for just $10 right now at Pizza Hut. And remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN.
Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
At Associated Bank, we thought about speaking like other banks with hoity-toity names like Total Privilege Pay or something. But we don't speak bankish, we speak your language. When we say 2-day early pay, we mean you get paid 2 days early. $50 overdraft grace zone? That's a grace zone of up to $50 if overdrafts happen. And maintenance fee free account? Well, that speaks for itself. At Associated Bank, we get you. That's why we've got you. Learn more at associatedbank.com/you-got-this. Member FDIC.
Imagine the peace of mind knowing your home or business is safe 24/7. I'm Jeffrey Beckman, president of J&K Security Solutions, and we provide security you can trust. Serving Madison and southern Wisconsin, J&K Security Solutions offers state-of-the-art home and business security systems tailored to your needs. From video surveillance to home and business automation, to find out how J&K Security can help secure what matters most in your life, visit jksecurity.com.
Talk about stepping up! It's time to level up your game. Introducing the all-new ESPN app. All of ESPN, all in one place. Your home for the most live sports and the best championship moments.
The electricity is palpable.
Step up your game with no annual contract required. It's the ultimate fan experience. Level up for more on the ESPN app or at stream.espn.com. Sign up now.
Ben Brust here for Zimbrick European. The all-new 2026 Audi Q3 has arrived at Audi Madison. Lease the all-new 2026 Audi Q3 Quattro for $579 per month for 36 months. Offer is only available until March 31st. Stop in and test drive today. Check out AudiMadison.com to browse and see current inventory and specials. Start your adventure at Audi Madison today, off the Beltline and Rimrock Road.
Hey, it's John Hayes, owner of Goodman's Jewelers. Come in and discover the high standards, classic traditions, honesty, integrity, and elegance when you walk through our doors. For over 90 years, customers have returned again and again to our warm boutique setting. Trust me, because I've been there for over 40 of them. Whether it's time to come back or your first time in, stop by Goodman's Jewelers at 220 State Street today. Goodman's Jewelers, the Diamond Store of Madison since 1933.
The best is at Goodman's.
Mark Tauscher here for Iron Jock. As a former athlete, I've worn just about every type of workout gear there is, and nothing compares to Iron Jock. Their performance apparel is built to fight sweat, odor, and bacteria, keeping you feeling fresh no matter how hard you push. From the gym to the pickleball court, Iron Jock keeps you dry, comfortable, and confident. Now through April 5th, when you spend $50, you get 30% off, and you get 2 free pair of socks with the code SOCKS2. That's socks and the number 2. Iron Jock helps you look good, smell good, and keep showing up. Shop now at ironjock.com.
We're on the Bucks.
Playoff push for the Bucks is officially over.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
For the first time in 10 years, Milwaukee will not qualify for the postseason.
Madison's home of the Bucks. 100.5 ESPN.
So I want to get to something before the 11 o'clock hour. So I'm just going to read this tweet briefly from Wes Hodkiewicz from the AFC Coaches Breakfast, where Jeff Hafley and Mike McCarthy are among the coaches speaking today. Jeff Hafley on Matt LaFleur. Not only do I love him as a person, but I think he's one of the best coaches in our league. Now you could say that what's Jeff Hafley going to say? Yeah, I'm glad I got that job with the Packers.
He could give praise without being that effusive.
It's true. I would agree, and that's what we talked about with the players as well. And by the way, that's another thing that Ed Policy said during that conversation about Matt LaFleur, that there were multiple players that came to him on LaFleur's behalf. So not everyone was disgruntled among them. But my question for you, Tausch, is do you think Jeff Hafley's going to be one of the better coaches in our league? If you had a guess today?
Not this year. I mean, they got a full-on reload, rebuild. I'm going to say no because the odds are stacked against him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he's going to get some time, and I think he's a good leader. Obviously, you guys in the press loved him because he was good. That's all great. But, as a college head coach, his track record was meh. I think he will get the most. He better get his quarterback right, and hopefully it'll be Malik, and that'll be great. But they've stripped that thing down. I mean, he's going to have to weather some storms. But the good news is, down in Miami, you're allowed to weather some storms. They get a lot
of hurricanes down there.
They do, and you build it properly. If you build it properly, you can withstand that, unless it's a Cat 5. And I don't think we're going to be looking at Cat 5 because the beautiful part about that is you have more of an indifferent fan base. You don't have, and I know people give you and the beat guys a lot of grief sometimes for not being overly critical, and you're not Philadelphia and you're not New York, and you're not, but you're not in the fishbowl to the same degree you are in Green Bay. And Miami, I think everybody understands we're going through some stuff. We're going to have to let this thing grow. And if you do that and you do it right, and I think their GM obviously is a Goody disciple and a Ron Wolf and all
right.
That, I think he'll have a chance to have a chance. But the odds would tell me it's probably going to be tough sledding because nobody's been able to win in Miami since Dan Marino was there.
Well, it's really tough sledding. Excuse me. It's really tough sledding when you have a bad bank. That's the worst. We made the switch from a big national bank to Associated Bank over a decade ago. And you know what I say about banks? It's not branches that make a bank local, it's roots, and Associated Bank's roots are deep in Wisconsin. That's why you should make the switch today. Go to AssociatedBank.com to find out more about their great customer service and their Brewers, Badgers, and Packers checking accounts. Associated Bank, your money works here. More Wilde and Tausch straight ahead. Stick around.
We're on the Packers.
It's never been about beating the Bears or the Vikings. It's about winning a championship.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
There is an intensity deficit, and there won't be now.
Great.
Those days are gone.
You're listening to 100.5 ESPN.
Mark Tauscher here, and if you know me, you know I love Wisconsin. That's why I'm a UW Credit Union member. Their team's been all about Wisconsin since 1931, and they love making banking easy for members. Whether it's with their convenient mobile app or with the great perks like early payday to get you paid sooner. Stop by any of their local branches or visit uwcu.org to join and become a UW Credit Union member like I did. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute is brought to you by Steinhafels. Upgrade your sleep game during Steinhafels Mattress Madness. Get top brands, unbeatable prices, free delivery, and a 120-night sleep guarantee. Only at Steinhafels. Pro Football Hall of Famer Joe Thomas talking the state of Wisconsin football. Thomas excited to see Badger in-state commitments grow. The Badger legend on the Pride hometown recruits carry.
If you got a guy who's from Wisconsin and he's just as good as a guy from Texas or Florida or wherever else, and you grew up and you wore a Badger jersey, it's going to mean a little bit more. The biggest mistake that they did make is not remembering that the core of the program is always going to be built with kids that grew up wearing Badger red.
Order today and get 0% interest until 2032 at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Upgrade now, pay no interest until 2032. Visit PellaWI.com.
For over a century, one family has helped generations move forward. Christofferson Moving and Storage. They've built a legacy of trust celebrating 120 years in 2026 with transparent, upfront pricing, highly trained professional crews, and flexible services designed around you. They protect your home and belongings with expert care and clear communication every step of the way. Let them handle the heavy lifting so you can focus on what's next. Christofferson Moving and Storage. Your best move since 1906. Get your complimentary quote at ChristoffersonMoving.com.
Sure, you've got school spirit, but does your jewelry box?
At Chalmers Jewelers, we're proud to be an official retailer of University of Wisconsin jewelry.
Featuring the iconic Motion W, Bucky Badger, and more.
Prices start at just $65.
Whether you're tailgating, jumping around, or shouting on Wisconsin, let your jewelry join the celebration because even Bucky loves a little bling.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison.
We see you out there, coming up with original ideas, which is why you shop at Blaine's Farm and Fleet, because you know when inspiration rises, we'll have what you need to make it happen at prices that make it possible. Get a head start on spring savings with doorbuster pricing on Scott's Turf Builder Triple Action, $10 off. Rewards members save an extra $10. Plus, new at Blaine's, shop Ego battery-powered mowers and outdoor power equipment. Find the value you need to do things your way. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Being original.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Spring is here, and living with your old, drafty, foggy, dirty, hard-to-open, bad windows is no longer an option. You deserve better windows and doors. At Siding Unlimited, we install top-of-the-line wood, vinyl, and fiberglass windows with options to fit your style, color, and design choices. Built for energy efficiency, installed by our professional craftsmen at Siding Unlimited. Siding Unlimited. Experience, integrity, craftsmanship. Visit sidingunlimited.com today.
We're on the Bucks.
They're showing Giannis that we're doing everything possible to keep you happy.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
The Bucks have the power to force Giannis to say, I want out.
Madison's home of the Bucks. 100.5 ESPN.
So Tausch referenced this a little bit earlier in the show, and we haven't talked about it much, so I want to get back to this. Matt LaFleur made a comment yesterday about the offense and about how they're going to basically tear it down to year one and like act like it's a new year. Tausch, help me understand this, because the whole idea is that you have your core principles that you always rely on, but as you go, you're able to do different things with the people that have been in the system for a while, and you got a bunch of wide receivers and tight ends and a quarterback, and a running back now is going to be in his third year, and a number of, but not all, the offensive linemen who've been around for a while. Why would you want to tear it down and start over, essentially, in year 8 with the head coach and year 4 with the starting quarterback?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I thought that was a really interesting quote, because you want to build off of experience and you want to kind of have an idea of what people are really good at, and it's not like you're bringing in a bunch of new skill guys. Now, you could go from where you were a run-dominant team, and obviously last year, one of the things I saw that was surprising is I think we were 52.8% pass. That's a really balanced ratio, and I think when Joe Thomas was in here subbing, cousin subbing for me, he brought that up and said, you better put the ball in Jordan's hand more. I agree. I think Jordan is at the point now where he can probably throw the football around a lot more than maybe we all thought. So when you start looking at all of that, trying to figure out what this offense and how it's going to go, stripping it down to the studs, I mean, that's a remodel. I don't think you need to remodel. I think you need to, figure out, we got Tucker Kraft and we got Christian Watson, we're going to have Matthew Golden, we got Jaden Reed. How are we going to utilize these guys along with Josh Jacobs? And I think one of the things that you're going to need to see is the offensive line start showing some signs of improvement, and you're figuring out we have a new left tackle. We got a right tackle that's been through a lot. We got a center that's very new to his spot. What are we good at? Because all of these teams, the teams that win, they know what they're good at. The Seahawks knew we can run the football, and Sam Darnold can do some things play action wise. Right now, the question is what are the Green Bay Packers going to be good at?
Right?
I don't know. I don't know if they know.
What do you think he actually means then? Like, what do you think when he says this? They're not really going to start from scratch.
No, But I do think the run game, they probably need to reevaluate and say, what can we do? What are we – because for all of us that thought there's going to be a lot of changes, this thing's kind of getting run back with the exception of Shido.
Mm-hmm.
So what are we going to be good at? Is this going to be, more of a zone team, or are we going to do more pin and pulls and, counter? What is the run game going to look like, and then how do we get the play action to marry up to that? Because he is a firm believer in that, and that is, I think, one of his biggest strengths. So how you figure all that out, but this whole concept of when Rodgers and him stripped it down and did that, and trying to marry Aaron's knowledge base that he's had for 15 years, whatever year it was for him, and Matt LaFleur's system, that made a lot of sense to me. This, I don't think it's stripped down. I think what it is let's get back to the basics. That is what I think is more in line with what I would anticipate him doing.
Well, I'll be curious if that entails a change in the run approach in which they say, Josh Jacobs, we love you, we love your toughness, we love your leadership, but we want to run the ball the way we want to run the ball, and we're going to make some adjustants to that. Whether that's
if you're going to do that, why would you keep Josh Jacobs?
Because you think he can still be effective in that way.
But that's not what he. I mean,
you got to be uncomfortable. You got to be comfortable being uncomfortable, Tausch.
Yeah, but I want my players that have been around and are really good. I want to utilize them in what they're really good at.
So then next year he'll be disgruntled with what his role was this year because they ran.
Well,
more
I don't know
outside zone.
did they end up doing anything with his contract? Or are they just running it?
As far as I know, based on where things are listed on this Spotrac site, his contract is what his contract is. They did not make adjustments to it.
Huh. Well, you're going to run it back with him, and he is a really good tailback, but is it the way Matt LaFleur wants to play without a gun? And I don't know, does Jordan Love like being out of gun a lot more?
I think he does.
But I'm telling you, and I know that was a big point of contention with one of the media reviews last year or 2 years ago, with it's more effective to run play action out of under center.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care who you're talking to. Ask any defensive coordinator. Ask any defensive player. And I'm telling you, when they're in gun, you're looking at it like they're throwing the football.
Yep.
And until then, yeah, you'll get some runs out of it. But, man, when you're under center, it's first down. You get your guys popping pads coming off and selling runs. It gets linebackers moving. It forces defensive linemen to take a false step. There's just a lot of things that go into play, and you have to think. Defensive players don't want to think. They want to go.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you can make them think, the more effective you're going to be on offense.
You're right. You're right again. All right. We need to get to the 11 o'clock hour. You heard Evan Cohen earlier, and apparently he doesn't especially enjoy vacations. Well, maybe the perfect vacation for him is the next time he's in Milwaukee to just swing by Potawatomi Casino Hotel, because you don't have to hop on a plane or board a cruise ship to feel like you've escaped. Your next getaway is waiting for you right there in Milwaukee at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Start with the stay. The biggest hotel rooms in Milwaukee, nearly 500 beautifully designed rooms and luxury suites that are perfect for a weekend reset, a date night, or celebrating something big. And they're all just steps away from everything that's happening inside. And if you're hungry, you've got all kinds of options. Premium steaks at Dream Dance Steakhouse, pizza, burritos, quick bites at the Marketplace, Rockin' Brews with that great salmon and that high-energy vibe, Canal Street Cafe, Ruyi Asian Kitchen, Cream City Coffee Company, all kinds of options, like I said. And if you're planning a wedding, a birthday, or an anniversary, their event spaces are built to make it unforgettable. Sophisticated relaxation, incredible flavor, and a full night out, all in one place. Potawatomi Casino Hotel. The 11 o'clock hour starts in 2 minutes, so stick around.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
This is Monte Ball.
Monte steps to the right, dashes, reaches, touchdown.
You listen to 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison and streamers everywhere. I'm Jesse Nelson, Sports Center, brought to you by Ridgetop Exteriors, trusted and local experts providing the best quality roof, siding, windows, and doors, expertly installed and at an affordable price. Get your free estimate today at ridgetopexteriors.com. Good news, bad news for the Milwaukee Brewers last night. The bad news is worse than the good news is good. The Rays beat them 3-2 at American Family Field. That's the first loss for the Brewers of the 2026 season. Tied 2-2 going into the ninth inning. The Rays scored in the top of the ninth. Brewers stranded a runner on base in the bottom of the ninth to ultimately lose for the first time this season. Here's the good news. The Brewers were one of 5 undefeated teams entering play last night, and all 5 of them lost. So therefore, the Brewers are still the best team in baseball, 4 games into the season. Brewers and Rays back at it tonight, 6:40, first pitch at American Family Field. Pregame coverage starts just after 6 o'clock following Jim, Matt, and Molly here on Madison's home of the Brewers, 100.5 ESPN. Tonight's game also available on television over the air on TVW in Madison, Fox 6 in Milwaukee. Check your local stations elsewhere around the state. Bucks in action tonight hosting the Dallas Mavericks at 7 o'clock in Madison. Listen to it on 1670 The Zone.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
I'm not giving up, no, not yet.
Of Wilde and Tausch begins now. And as I said when he returned yesterday, and as I always say, we're always thrilled when old boy comes back after he's been on a assignment or sabbatical or wherever he may be. But it was interesting that a few of our cousin subs disagreed with him on some topics. We had one from Joe Thomas, and we had one from Bill Schroeder.
Disagreed with who? With me?
With you?
Oh, no,
yeah.
People don't disagree with me.
We got I completely disagree with Tausch.
Is that a new
That's a quote.
Bill
Schroeder.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Well, it's going to be on the back of the T-shirts that say, I agree with Tausch. But John Anderson said something interesting while you were gone when he was the cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better. I think that was on Wednesday of last week.
I believe that's correct.
Jesse's got that queued up. So, Jesse, without further ado, let's hear from John Anderson.
Right now, I see Matt LaFleur like me betting on Sergio Garcia in the majors. I'm going to say no until he finally wins one. Then I go, boy, I'm wrong. Of course, my record is 140-1, but I'm wrong. So I would like to be wrong. But even at that, I'm going to be like, 12-3 if I'm wrong. And so that is I just see some game management things, the way things go, the lack of intensity, the fact they can't play 2 halves together. All those are more coaching than specific player development things because he's clearly had some success there, But I watch how you make this brilliant game plan when you put in Malik Willis and you run it a billion times and they know you're going to run it against Indy, and yet you're effective to the tune of whatever it was, 180 yards in the first half. And then the next week you go to, I believe it was Nashville, and everybody's like, okay, here we go again. We're going to run it 50 times and throw it 10, and you come out slinging it, right? So he's shown that he can do a bunch of this stuff. I would like him to do it for the full game, for a full season. I'd really like to see him do it in January.
So here's why I say...
First off, before you even do that...
No.
Okay, go ahead. Okay. 12-3. What a championship is worth a lot. But continue. I mean, come on, that's absurd.
I knew you were going to say
it's
something.
Absurd. That is absurd on top of absurd. Go ahead, Jason.
Well, so this is an instance. Not I brought up the people who disagreed with you. He was disagreeing with me. Like I think Matt LaFleur is a good coach. I did not think he should be fired. I thought maybe if Ed Policy had reacted emotionally, which we talked about, he did not react emotionally. I thought maybe there would be a change. But he was disagreeing with me. John Anderson and Josh DiMaggio are Matt LaFleur doubters. Doubters, as good old Frank Novak used to say. So when you hear him say that, it gave me pause, and I thought, well, am I not critical enough of LaFleur? Because I thought that was pretty telling that that's how John Anderson feels about the old ball coach.
Well, he hasn't.
What did you think?
Yeah, he hasn't won a championship, and all of these coaches that have success, and the winningest coach in the history of the NFL through 3 years, those things, they're great resume builders until they're not. Then they become an anchor around you, and the pressure builds when you're a head coach of the Green Bay Packers. It's about winning championships. This isn't you're in Cincinnati and you can get to an NFC or an AFC championship game or a Super Bowl and then you get another 7 or 8 years. That's just not how it works. And I think fans' frustration is, well, we can't get over the hump. And then you hear LaFleur yesterday talk about stripping it back down to the first year. And there is a group of fans. I don't think it's a majority by any stretch, that feel like Matt LaFleur is never going to get this team over the hump. We've had very close calls. Obviously, the COVID year, there's been teams that I think people feel have been good enough, having a lead going into the fourth against the San Francisco 49ers to go to an NFC championship game. The Sergio Garcia reference, I can't. Like that's absurd. So that one, if you're wrong once, the guy's a world champion, and if you're wrong twice, he's in the Hall of Fame. You could say, there's a lot of things, and we always will revert back to it's hard to win a championship. Yeah, it is, but it's something that is the expectation when you're the head coach here compared to other places, and all of the criticism levied at him is fair. Not all, a vast majority of the criticism where he himself had the talk when he was at his breakfast yesterday about guys not knowing their roles, and then those are things that is coaching. And then the clock management and some of the emotionality that I've discussed that I thought he got better at last year. Those are all things that I think Matt LaFleur has to continue to improve upon, but I do think he is a good football coach. I think he does a lot of things really well, but there are some things that he hasn't figured out yet to get his team to where he wants to go. Will he get there? Boy, it's hard. I would have never guessed Sergio was going to win a Masters. I would have thought he'd won a British Open or something, but all it takes is one season, one special season where you stay healthy and things click. That could be this year. Last year, we all have had the many discussions. If the ball is thrown out and Christian Watson comes down with it and they go and pull up by 16 and Micah doesn't get hurt and Xavier McKinney intercepts the football. Yep. None of that happened, and they could not get off the mat from that game. That was a bad omen. I mean, that obviously, from Matt's standpoint, that's we can't finish. Okay, couldn't finish the season. And those are the critiques that I think are very fair to be levied at Matt.
I would agree. Now, the only pushback I have on this, because I don't think fans should temper their expectations. I don't think they should want Super Bowls. I don't think they're wrong to want Super Bowls. I totally get it. I was leading the charge of, look, I still believe this team is playing in the NFC Championship game at minimum if Tucker Kraft and Micah Parsons were healthy. I get it. Excuse making, however you want to view it. Are you
saying that if they had won the division? Because I don't think they were going into Seattle even with those guys and beating them.
Yeah, but I'm saying if they win the division,
they're hosting.
Yeah. And then maybe they're playing Seattle. Maybe Seattle still gets the number 1 seed, and they're playing Seattle in the NFC Championship game, and they lose. But the thing that I push back on the absolutists of if you're not winning Super Bowls, you suck, is some of the most storied franchises in NFL history have longer droughts than the Packers do, right? 49ers have been to a couple of Super Bowls, lost them both. That's better than what the Packers have done. The Dallas Cowboys, who won 3 out of 4, whatever it was, with Aikman and Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin. It's been 30 years since they even won a playoff game, right? Or at least reached an NFC Championship game. I look at that and say it's really blanking hard, and you do need things to go your way. And in 2010, and I don't think there are comps between last year and 2010, but the break you guys got was Deshaun Jackson returning a punt for a touchdown. Because if he doesn't do that, you never even get the chance to win a Super Bowl because you missed the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And so that stuff matters. And it doesn't mean that Mike McCarthy is a far superior coach because of Deshaun Jackson's return than he would have been had that not happened. But he got the opportunity, and your team made the most of it. This team has had some opportunities, but it has been a while. 19, 20, and 21. NFC Championship game, NFC Championship game, number 1 seed that got squandered with a
I thought
divisional
you said
loss.
1920 and 1921. I'm thinking, boy, Don Hudson? Curley and the boys?
21.
Okay.
No Don Hudson. I think Don Hudson was a little bit later. But to your point, I think it's about a third of the fan base. I think that's what we've kind of settled on, that think this guy's never going to get us over the top. And they're more likely right than not, to be fair. Because after 7 seasons, I think the stats would tell you that very rarely does a coach take a team to the Super Bowl for the first time with that team 8 years in. Because a lot of times they don't get to 8 years. And he's won enough that he's gotten, and I thought it was interesting, again, as we talked about earlier, I thought it was interesting that Ed Policy basically said, I can't believe people thought I was going to fire him. That was basically his messaging. So, again, I don't, I get it, but I'm eager to see how this year plays out. We need to play trivia. Jesse, what's today's category and what caller would you like?
It is Tuesday, and that means it is Badgers Trivia Tuesday, as is customary, even though Tausch has to leave us. Bye, Tausch. Caller number. You pick the caller number.
Yeah, well, don't leave yet. You also have to tell us about UW credit.
Yeah, number 13. Caller Lucky 13 today.
Deal.
Caller 13 right now, 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. Caller 13 plays trivia as Tausch departs, but not until he tells us about his membership at UW Credit Union.
And for every stage of life, UW Credit Union is here for ever you, proudly serving Wisconsin. For over 90 years, they're going to help you reach your financial goals. And you know what? They have all kinds of great perks that you're looking for, and I've talked to you about the mobile app. It is a simple way to check your accounts, make transfers, and more. That is a smart play from the pocket. Join today at uwcu.org, insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions do apply.
We'll play trivia next. Bye, Tausch. See you tomorrow. It's Wilde and Tausch.
level. Training program spots are filling quickly, so don't wait. Register now at grbacademy.com.
If you've been injured, let our team help get you back in the game. Gruber Law Offices, a proud partner of the Milwaukee Bucks. Gruber Law Offices, one call, that's all.
Join Stoughton Health Ortho Team Clinic's Dr. Ashish Raval for a free online event on knee ACL healing. Wednesday, April 8th from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Dr. Rava will explain how ACL injuries occur, symptoms to look for, and the latest innovative treatments that support better knee recovery. This session is great for athletes, active adults, parents, and anyone wanting to better understand knee health after an ACL injury. Register today at stoughtonhealth.com under classes and events.
Spring is here, and living with your old, drafty, foggy, dirty, hard-to-open, bad windows is no longer an option. You deserve better windows and doors. At Siding Unlimited, we install top-of-the-line wood, vinyl, and fiberglass windows with options to fit your style, color, and design choices. Built for energy efficiency, installed by our professional craftsmen at Siding Unlimited. Siding Unlimited. Experience, integrity, craftsmanship. Visit sidingunlimited.com today.
$2.3 million. A recent Schwab survey of Americans says that it takes $2.3 million to be wealthy. Well, you may have had your financial plan set on a bigger or a more humble number. But if you're looking for added insights on how to get there or how to avoid some tax pitfalls on the way, Annex Wealth Management is ready to listen. Mark Tauscher here, and whether your situation is complex or simple, the Annex Wealth Management team can give you wealth expertise and guidance on reaching your goals. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
We spent most of last week doing. And now we play Trivia, presented by Iron Jock and Cousin Subs.
Wilde and Tausch Trivia is brought to you by Iron Jock, performance apparel that actually performs. No stink, just performance, and proudly Wisconsin built. Shop now at ironjock.com. And by Cousin Subs. It's lobster season at Cousin Subs. Their lobster salad sub is fresh, flavorful, and only here for a limited time. Try it today.
We welcome in our contestant. It is Steve in Pewaukee. Steve, good morning. How are you today?
Good day. Doing good. Thanks for having me.
Sorry you don't get Tausch. You're just stuck with Jesse and me. The category is Badgers Trivia Tuesday. Question numero uno is this. In which popular vacation destination is the NCAA Men's Hockey Frozen Four, including the Wisconsin Badgers, taking place this year? Is it in Las Vegas, Nashville, or in Los Angeles with Evan Cohen and his family, even though Evan doesn't like vacations?
This is a wild guess. I'm saying Vegas.
Jesse is pushing for the powers that be to let him go cover.
No, all of us. I think all of us go. We share a room. Hit the buffet.
You can stop.
Little
right
Cirque du Soleil.
Right there.
Go to the pool.
I'm in on Cirque du Soleil. I'm definitely in on buffets. I am not in on sharing a room.
You're telling me there aren't going to be a bunch of Badger fans traveling out to Vegas for the Frozen Four that are going to have a great weekend out there next week?
No, I'm not telling you that. I'm telling you I don't want to share a room with you and Tausch. All
right, Tausch can get his own room.
Here's the thing. Isn't Tausch a big high roller when he goes to gamble,
maybe
right?
He's got like a penthouse somewhere.
They usually comp those rooms to those type of guys.
I know some people that might be able to help us out.
Is there a Hard Rock Casino Las Vegas?
I actually don't know.
Okay, so you don't know the people there. All right, question 2, Steve, is this. The Big Ten, which has, 18 teams in it?
Yep.
Announced yesterday that it is partnering with which other conference for a volleyball challenge showcase beginning this year? Are they partnering with the SEC, the Big East, or the Mountain West?
Yeah, I believe it's the SEC. They're having some games in Wrigley Field.
They're playing outdoor volleyball at Wrigley Field?
A couple of them. Yeah, Nebraska and Missouri, and then Kentucky, Penn State, I'm pretty sure, were the outdoor
So Wisconsin
games,
not part of that, then?
They are not playing at Wrigley Field, no. But they are hosting, I think Minnesota gets a home game in the field house, technically, because it's Minnesota, like Auburn. And then Wisconsin plays Florida and Auburn in their time here. So, yeah, interesting little challenge they've put together, announced yesterday.
I can tell you that Wisconsin volleyball is playing UW Green Bay here in Green Bay.
Oh, you going?
On April 18th. And, yes, Sydney and we're trying to get some of her teammates together to go. So, yeah, we're going. Question 3, Steve Areno, is this. What was Wisconsin's record this season against teams that have qualified for the Final Four in the men's basketball tournament? Okay, so think about the teams. It's UConn, Arizona,
Illinois,
Michigan, and Illinois.
Yeah.
Did the Badgers go 1-1 against those teams, 2-1 against those teams, or 3-1 against those teams?
I believe it's 2-1. They beat Michigan and Illinois lost Illinois.
Jesse? And the perfect weekends.
Close, Steve. They did, in the regular season, beat Michigan and Illinois, both on the road at their places. Then in the Big Ten tournament, they beat Illinois before losing to Michigan. 3-1 Wisconsin against teams that are in the Final Four. But then there are some hosts on our airwaves that are saying that they're closer to being a mid-major than they are to being a top team in college basketball, which is absurd.
I don't know to what you're referring. That's the first I've heard of it.
That's not true.
Well, Steve-O, you got 2 out of 3. Which ain't bad, as Meatloaf taught us. That means you got 3 of the possible 4 entries into Friday's drawing. Good work. We appreciate your loyalty to the show, buddy. Thanks.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a good day.
I love you guys.
Is Wilde and Tausch Trivia presented by Cousins Subs and Iron Jock. With Tausch having departed, we are on the cusp at 11:30 of having potentially the lengthiest Whoa Nelly in a very, very, very long time.
Well, it's true. Yeah, in a very long time, no doubt about it. Yeah,
maybe not record-settingly long in the history of its existence, but it's going to be a long one, so I apologize in advance. Whoa Nelly is next.
Way to sell it.
Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
The sound of summer is on ESPN Madison.
And a swing and a miss. Would you like fries with that?
Madison's home of the Brewers.
Fly ball to deep right. It is back. Out of here!
Catch every Milwaukee Brewers game this season on 100.5 ESPN.
Watching it sail. It's a grand slam.
Brewers baseball on ESPN Madison is presented by Hard Rock Casino Rockford and brought to you by North and South Seafood and Smokehouse.
Chevy trucks have you covered when the road takes you from smooth sailing to Chevy Colorado will eat up some of the toughest terrains with 5 available drive modes. And Silverado and Silverado HD have the muscle to take you out for some serious with multiple engine options and impressive towing. While Silverado EV is the perfect combo of performance and capability. Nice. Making it a snap to hitch up this electric truck and hit the road. Wherever the road leads, Chevy trucks are right there with you. See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
Wisconsin weather doesn't wait, and neither should you. At Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, we make upgrading your home simple. Right now, order today and get 0% interest until 2032. You heard me right. 0% interest all the way until 2032. Upgrade your windows and doors now and pay over time without paying interest. With our 10-year limited warranty, you can feel confident in your investment. Schedule your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 3/31/2026.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on where you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Here's the thing. Buying jewelry should feel good. Not rushed, not pressured, and definitely not final if it's not right. That's why at Condon Jewelers you can exchange your purchase so you actually end up with what you really want. And when it comes to value, Condon Jewelers offers some of the best prices in the area without sacrificing quality, service, or trust. So whether you're celebrating a big moment or just treating yourself, you can shop confidently knowing they've got your back. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Is your computer so slow you can hardly use it? Does it have blue screens, malware, viruses, reboots, hardware crashes? Sound familiar? Computers will have problems, and when they do, you need the computer experts at Madison Computer Works. Every day we help home users and businesses keep their computers and networks running smoothly. For solutions to your computer problems, call the pros at 231-8000, and we'll turn this into this. Madison Computer Works. Computers that work for you.
Summer is coming and it's time to start thinking about a summer job. Hey, it's Jesse Nelson. Madison School and Community Recreation is now hiring for many positions, including day camp and youth program leaders, outdoor adventure staff, support staff for individuals with disabilities, sports instructors and officials, and more. Full and part-time positions with daytime and evening hours are available. No matter your interest, schedule, or location, there's a position for everyone. At MSCR, you can make an immediate impact in the community and gain meaningful experience. Start your summer adventure today. Apply at mscr.org.
The sound of summer is back.
First offering to Freeland is a fly ball to right. It is high. It is deep. Bye-bye baseball. Second deck for Salvatore.
Your home for the crew. 100.5 ESPN.
I'm sorry, let me try and sell this better. The favorite part of the show for Beth that would attend the... Beth, right?
Barb.
Quote Barb Beth. That would attend the...
She doesn't mind.
Barry Alvarez show at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Of Usher George and Jesse's mom, who... have got it going on when it comes to this segment. But really nobody else. Time now for Whoa Nelly. How's that?
If the topic is good, the guys discuss.
Just the other morning I had breakfast at Tracy Rocker's house. His mama brought out 15 flapjacks. He said, Mama, take back 5 of them flapjacks. I gotta stay hungry for the Crimson Tide.
But if it's not, the show must go on. It's time for
Whoa Nelly
on Wilde and Tausch.
Why did Sean McVay at the NFL meetings offer up to reporters that they had contemplated trading Davante Adams, but then decided not to? Like, I don't understand what the value is there. He said yesterday, meeting with the reporters, just like LaFleur did, Sean McVay of the Rams, quote, "If we felt like it was best for our team, we would have done that. But we didn't think it was best for our team," when asked about trading Davante Adams and exploring offers for him this offseason.
Yeah, I don't know. But he had earlier said that he had told him that they had explored the possibility, right? I think that was part of that story.
Yeah, why do any of that? And why share it with everybody?
Yeah, somehow, I don't remember how it started, but it was out there that they discussed trading him earlier this offseason. So now they didn't trade him, so of course he's got to say, we decided it was best for us to keep him. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I understand why he said what he said yesterday, because it was out there previously that they explored trading him. My question would be, why did you explore trading him? Because you've got Puka Nacua, who, this reminds me of the one thing Goody and I disagreed on vehemently, and I still believe I was right about this.
Jordy Nelson.
Yes, so his explanation to me, we were in Indianapolis. It was in 2019. It was before the pandemic. I think that was the first year where I drove to the scouting combine, which 7 hours is a long time for me in the car. My max is about 3.5, but we did it and it was fun, and I put in for the mileage. But I sat with him and I said, look, again, I know you don't care what I think, but what was your reasoning behind moving on from Jordy last year when he wanted to play basically one more year, and both Rodgers and Devontae said that he was ready to take a 1-year, $2 million offer from you to stay until they told him, dude, you can't get lowballed to that degree. And he acknowledged the contract, and then he said, my greatest concern was that if he was still here, that it would stunt Devontae's growth as the number one wide receiver. And my response to him was, you realize that Devontae was already the number one wide receiver in 2017. Like, you know the story, Jesse. I tell it all the time. Rodgers loved telling the story about that game in Dallas. And again, if Rodgers doesn't break his collarbone that year, that 2017 team is a playoff team and maybe a contender for the Super Bowl. They're off to a 4-1 start that year. He gets hurt the following week in Minnesota on like the opening drive or the second drive. But Davante Adams runs a route. They don't connect in the end zone. It's incomplete. And Davante Adams comes back to the huddle and says to Rodgers, throw a better damn ball and we'll score a touchdown. Run the same play again. And what happens? That's exactly what they do. They score the touchdown. Davante celebrates by chucking the ball into the wall, if you remember. He's the guy. He is him, as the kids say. So Jordy Nelson already knew. Aaron Rodgers already knew. And Davante Adams already knew that Davante Adams was the number one wide receiver. So that argument did not hold water. But again, my opinion doesn't matter. But I'll tell you this, the quarterback and the two wide receivers' opinions should have mattered.
Whoa, Nelly! You will not get your dream come true this year or the following year. Let's put an end to that right away. The NFL announced yesterday at the NFL meetings the next two teams that will be featured on the preseason version of Hard Knocks. This year, for the first time since the show launched in 2001, it's the defending Super Bowl champion, Seattle Seahawks, who will be featured in July and August. And next year, they've already announced the New England Patriots will be the team that is featured on Hard Knocks for the 2027 training camp and preseason. What are you shaking your head for?
Why don't the Packers want to do this if now the two teams that played in the Super Bowl are now lined up to be in it the next 2 years?
You know why the Packers don't want to do it.
No, I don't.
They don't want any of their secrets getting out.
No.
They don't even want people just taking videos at practice. You think they want an entire film crew there doing stuff?
I understand why they think it's a bad thing. What I'm saying is that if all these other teams are fine with it, and you do get some measure of creative control, like if there are certain things you definitely don't want out there, they clearly allow you to do that. So my question is, what are they afraid of? John Schneider's doing it. Elliott Wolf's doing it. Those guys went to the Super Bowl. I'm fascinated by the reasoning. But you're right. They may never be on there. And now, like, you win a Super Bowl and you, like, one of the things that exempts you from being on is making the playoffs.
Not anymore. Changed the rules. They changed the rules because nobody wanted to be on it. Because everybody was afraid of all their secrets getting out and looking like the Giants when they did that Saquon Barkley trade.
Yeah, just weird. Weird.
So maybe an in-season version could be coming for the Packers.
Yeah. Whoa, Nelly! They do that by division, I think, in season, right?
Would you settle for a different, like if it wasn't Hard Knocks on HBO, but if it was like Amazon Prime did their own documentary just on the Packers or Netflix just on the Packers, would we settle for that as opposed to Hard Knocks?
Look, I mean what I say when I talk about that as a conduit to the fans. I want to bring them things that they don't get otherwise. In this instance, these docuseries would give you access that I can't give you either. I try to give you as many behind-the-scenes stories as I can. Because that's the stuff that you can't get just by being a fan and going to games and watching the games on TV. So I am a big proponent of this. I will continue to try and give you that other stuff and the insight. But yeah, I'd love to see the behind-the-scenes stuff that even I don't get to see. But, I would love to see the interactions between Matt LaFleur and Rich Bisaccia behind the scenes. Never asked him why he was quitting.
I'd like to see that too.
But it doesn't sound like that's something that they're ever going to be interested in doing. By the way, as someone who is a big Price is Right guy, Jesse knows.
Yeah.
But not a Bob Barker Price is Right guy?
I love Bob Barker. Bob Barker's the GOAT. It's him and Trebek are 1-2 in game show hosting, Mount Rushmore. We just don't give enough credit to Drew Carey, who has done it for over 20 years now, I'm pretty sure. It's right around 2 full decades for Drew Carey, which is an incredible run for a game show host, and nobody gives him any credit for it.
Apparently, this just came across my desk. Producer of The Price is Right defending Bob Barker, according to Entertainment Weekly, in wake of bombshell docuseries. The show was a happy place. Apparently, Barker's beauties have been on the record in this documentary.
Yeah, there was
talking about what a jackwagon Bob Barker was.
There's this new series that's out that's it's coming after a bunch of different things, and The Price is Right was one of them. Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't seen it. I saw commercials for it during the
Olympics.
Olympics.
Are you avoiding it? Where is it?
No, I think it was on I think you can find it on Peacock. I think it's on like that. It's on one of those NBC channel E or whatever it is. It's on one of those, I think.
Okay. Well, apparently there were some people that did not have a high opinion of Bob Barker.
Yeah, that's disappointing, but I guess not surprising to some extent.
Whoa, Nelly!
Last thing, you actually mentioned this at the start of the show, and we haven't gotten to it. What you said something about the Packers might still play an international game next year. What's that? I didn't see that yesterday.
So Ed Policy, or as Tausch likes to call him, Mr. Policy.
Ed Policy.
That's what you're calling him now. Spoke last evening with Domofsky and Schneidman and Ryan Wood and Wes and the whole crew that are in Arizona. And evidently, so there are 2 games that have teams that are among the Packers' opponents for 2026.
Uh-oh. And they didn't say them yet?
And their opponents, or the matchups for these games have not yet been revealed. And so, and they will be, the Packers would be the away games. The Packers would be the away team, so they would not be losing a home game.
Oh, boy.
But 2 teams are playing internationally that have not yet announced the opponents. One is the Detroit Lions. And they play in Munich.
Uh-oh. That's the one Tausch wants.
And we're very big in Germany.
Yeah. That could be the one.
The other one is the Saints, and instead of going to New Orleans, you'll be going to Paris. Oui, oui, monsieur.
That'd be fun.
So Ed Policy saying that the Packers are not out of the woods yet on an international game. We know Matt LaFleur has now truly embraced.
Right, yeah, third time's a charm. Yeah. Fourth time's a charm.
International games.
You've been to both of those. It's been a minute, but you've been to both of those stadiums, right?
I have not been to Munich. No.
Detroit and New Orleans. Because here's whenever you're saying that the Packers would be the road team and they would play an international game, I think that would be appealing to a team that is afraid to have its stadium overrun by Packers fans. So like Jacksonville wouldn't mind playing the Packers in London because it's going to be 90% Packers fans in Jacksonville, or the Titans wouldn't mind playing the Packers in London or
That's a good
wherever.
point. That's a well-reasoned position, Jesse. Good.
New Orleans stinks. So
lots of Packers fans going down to the French Quarter and drinking a lot of Coors Lights.
I can see a lot of Packers fans having a good time at a trip to New Orleans once every 4 years. Now, we haven't played very well in New Orleans, so I don't know if they would mind playing the Packers there, but that feels like one that would make a lot of sense to send the Packers internationally.
Yeah, Detroit is the one that's playing in Munich, which the location makes a lot more sense, right? I mean, the Packers are one of the designated international teams for Germany. You know, the NFL did that where they picked a couple of teams. I don't know. Are the Packers one from Ireland too? I think maybe.
That sounds right. Yeah.
But if I'm Detroit, the hell if I want a division game in Munich.
Yeah, like 5-6 years ago, you would have been fine with it, but not anymore. Now their fans are lining up for tickets, right? I think if the Packers play in Munich, it would be one of the years where they have 9 home games and they would be the home team designated for it, as opposed to like the 49ers are playing the Rams in Australia. And the 49ers the Rams are the home team hosting the 49ers, but they're playing it in Australia. Well, the Rams don't mind that because the 49ers fans all come down and invade their stadium, and it feels like a road game. They're going silent count at SoFi. So they don't care about moving that division game and going to Australia to play that to start the year.
So for the Packers, who have 9 home games this year, they know that they're not giving up a home game. The fact that Ed Policy said this makes me wonder if he has a sneaking suspicion that one of these games is going to involve his team.
Oh, boy.
Again, as his predecessor said on his way out the door, get ready because all 32 teams are going to play a international game every year. Here are the Lions' home opponents because they have 9 home games as well. Here are the Lions' 9 home opponents in 2026. Chicago, Green Bay, Minnesota, New Orleans, Tampa Bay, New England, New York Jets, New York Giants. That's a lot of news. New England, New York Jets, New York Giants, and Tennessee. So if I'm the Lions, I'm saying, look, man, we got plenty of crappy games against AFC teams or against the Giants. We do not want you taking our home matchup with a division rival and putting it in Munich.
True, or you could look at it as none of those, like no one from New York is going to want to make the trip to Detroit to go see the Giants or the Jets play. So they're
but the Lions do sell out. They're good.
Yeah, for their home fans. The only game where they might get road fans invading, it would be Chicago or Green Bay. They're not drawing fans from New York or Nashville to come to Detroit.
I got news for you. You may enjoy a trip to Detroit, but I don't think a lot of Packers fans are like, God, you know what we need to do? We need to go to a game.
No, they go. It's not a lot, but...
It's not a lot. It's not overtaking the stadium.
But it's more than any of those other fan bases would send there.
Sure, but what I'm saying is if I'm them, I want my home field advantage against the Packers in my building.
That could happen.
It doesn't make it. Now,
I'm not ruling it out.
The Packers have now won, 2 out of 3 in Detroit?
They won last
on
year.
Thanksgiving in 23, and they won Thanksgiving last year, right?
Yep, and they lost the Thursday nighter the week after Thanksgiving the year in between.
Right. So, again, if I'm the Lions, I want that game at home, and I'd rather play one of these other teams on the road. All right, we need to wrap things up, even without Tausch. We'll do that next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Brewers baseball is back.
Mizorowski, the pitch, swing and a miss. He struck him out. Blew a fastball by him at 99 for his 11th strikeout of the afternoon.
Tune in all season right here on 100.5 ESPN, Madison's home of the Brewers.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Need new tires? For a limited time at Zimbrick Honda, you can buy 3 tires and get the 4th for only $1. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
You, rah, rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute is brought to you by Bruner Realty, providing excellent real estate and property management services in the Madison area for over 30 years. Contact their team at BrunerRealtyInc.com to get housed today. Pro Football Hall of Famer Joe Thomas talking the state of Wisconsin football. Thomas excited to see Badger in-state commitments grow. The Badger legend on the pride hometown recruits carry.
If you got a guy who's from Wisconsin and he's just as good as a guy from Texas or Florida or wherever else, and you grew up and you wore a Badger jersey, it's going to mean a little bit more. The biggest mistake that they did make is not remembering that the core of the program is always going to be built with kids that grew up wearing Badger red.
Order today and get 0% interest until 2032 at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Upgrade now, pay no interest until 2032. Visit PellaWI.com.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Mark Tauscher here for Iron Jock. As a former athlete, I've worn just about every type of workout gear there is, and nothing compares to Iron Jock. Their performance apparel is built to fight sweat, odor, and bacteria, keeping you feeling fresh no matter how hard you push. From the gym to the pickleball court, Iron Jock keeps you dry, comfortable, and confident. Now through April 5th, when you spend $50, you get 30% off, and you get 2 free pair of socks with the code SOCKS2. That's socks and the number 2. Iron Jock helps you look good, smell good, and keep showing up. Shop now at ironjock.com.
Brew Crew Tuesdays are back on March 31st.
Churio sends it deep to left, and there she goes!
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Tampa Bay Rays.
And Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh my goodness, third deck.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Delta Dental of Wisconsin. Tune in March 31st at 6:40 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee or check your local listings to watch the game.
Ben Brust here to tell you about why your next work van should be from Mercedes-Benz Sprinter at Zimbrick European. Get 0% APR for 24 to 60 months on new 2025 Mercedes-Benz Sprinter cargo and crew vans. This also includes the courtesy vehicle fleet, where Mercedes-Benz Sprinter vans have over 12 currently that qualify. Excludes e-Sprinter, Sprinter 30th Edition Cargo. Monthly payments for 24 months equals $41.66 per $1,000 borrowed. Monthly payments for 60 months equals $16.67 per $1,000 borrowed. No down payment required. Minimum is $20,000 financed. Maximum $100,000 financed with approval through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services. Stop in off the Beltline and Rimrock Road or go online at ZimbrickEuropean.com and check out the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter area, and you'll walk away with a vehicle that will help maximize your business. This offer expires March 31st, 2026. So hurry up and you'll be driving a new Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just to you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
We're going to get to Rich Eisen on time, but 2 quick YouTube comments. One from Chris. What does NFL insider Ben Brust know about the Packers international game this season? Well played. And then Green Bay shareholder. Come on, ESPN Milwaukee. Packers fans want all road division games on a neutral site. Definitely the Lions. No question we want. Another clueless statement by ESPN Milwaukee. Hey, dumbass. It's the Lions who don't want the game to be international. Listen.
Oh, snap.
On that note, we're done. Have a great day. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? Commercial-free full show podcasts are available free